point when I'm constantly interrupted and uh, rejected because somebody else has a different point of view, and it's just ridiculous. That's
Well,
what
what
we're
was
supposed to discuss things about, is be able to get your view out first and then respond.
right? What was he lying about now? According to you, I'm not saying that. I'm saying according
Oh
to you.
well, it's about the El Perro. He's trying to convince everybody that El Perro means the dog, and that I need to study my etymology because in Spanish it means the dog.
Yeah, no.
Spanish is 1300 13th century. That's 700 years ago. Whereas El Hotep II Pero is ancient Kemet.
The lemming comes in at looking at the chat. They've all changed their names to cult member numbers. This is retarded.
And the temple.
Okay, so let me just double check something so I don't sound like a complete fool. Yeah, I thought so. So once again, second. Okay, so Jack, you're an idiot because I suspected so. I double checked. It's exactly what I thought. A perro, right, is the dog, and then there's a similar word with two R's. Excuse me. The the one R, the two R's is the dog, one R is butt. So butt would be equivalent to space between, in a way. Right? Let's not even get into that conversation.
Yeah, and in Egyptian, it's PRO, or another version is PER hyphen A hyphen A. And that's just the English conversion because, Egyptian was symbolic. So even that went through a translation of some sort. But still, the concept is that it goes back to the origins of what I chose for my pen name, not what he chose my pen name to stand for. So either way, I'm just tired.
He's just wrong. He's just wrong as always.
Yeah, well, it wasn't Jack necessarily on that. That was Voynich on OTW's channel this morning. And it's a lot like Jack trying to convince people that he's telling them the truth when he has no supportive evidence of anything he's done.
Again,
Doing what?
There's a fine line between loving people and realize most folks are on some level of insanity, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. We see this. I see this all day, every day with folks I deal with nowadays. We get into discussing their life and their relationships, and I go, you realize this is insanity. I don't know if you want to call it X amount of percentage per case, but that's the theme here. The human condition is most folks have been, you could argue, for thousands of years doing the same shit over and over again, expecting different results, which I guess this was where I would segue to the two links I have up there about Joe Biden announcing his re-election campaign and Donnie commenting on that. But I don't even know if I could stomach it. I don't even know if I could get myself to do it. Let's get into it, Mr. Wizard, since no one else is coming up anyway. That was down the line, but it came up, so I guess we'll go to it.
The President of the United States releasing a 3-minute long, highly produced video. The headline, pretty simple. The President launching his re-election bid.
Let's finish this job. I know we can.
The
United States of America.
Yeah.
There's nothing we cannot do.
President Biden.
Oh my God, I'm so glad that I played this because I didn't listen to it yet. We listened to everything together. I'm so glad that I went to that. I actually, because I felt this feeling of I don't even want to talk about these people at all. I just, my life's been going so good, man, lately. And there's so much love, man. Seriously, that I didn't want to look at these people. But I went to it, and then he comes on with that smile, some guy in a mask, presumably, and goes, "We could get it finished. We can get it done. I'm sure you can. Another couple rounds of this, it's finished. It's all over." So you just got to realize what exactly they're saying, and they'll tell you the truth.
A formal announcement for a second term. Joining us now in Washington, D.C. is Anne-Marie. AMH, walk us through this one, widely expected for a long, long time.
Yeah, widely expected, but here the president is laying down the groundwork, saying officially, I will be running for 2024. It really starts to put a damper on some of the whispers that people were asking within the Democratic Party. Is he too old? Should we look for someone new? The president saying, I want to finish this job. That's how he ends this video that he released today. And also, this gives him now a moment where he's going to be having events. He can meet with donors. He can really start to put his campaign team together, which they also released a statement looking at who is going to be on.
Okay, so real quick, Mr. Wizard, I think you want to say something, but the cult metaphysician down there is informing everyone right now of what everyone was already told the other night. So I'll reiterate it. And folks know I don't like to repeat myself. So going forward, no one will be addressed and no one will be permitted inside the grounds of Unslavia without assigning themselves the number they were given with their cult packet and or cult position and color for the festival events. So please immediately embody the format as you see down there, cult member number 11. See how that works? Cult member number 312. Okay, so I'm just going to put it forth now. And if I don't see progress on that, like by the 1 hour mark or before, I just start fucking blocking everybody. Okay? You know, not blocked completely, just 5 minutes in the chamber at a time, because I need to get my area together down there and I don't like seeing all this mess. Okay, so the edict was put forth. This is a cult. I came out in the open. No use hiding it anymore. You want to be a part of what we do here, please. Yes, cult member 96. Very attractive woman. I will be inseminating that woman, although she probably can't clean or cook. No matter. There's others for that. So, you know, let's get with the program here. Yeah, in a thought experiment, Yurt fellow. Yeah, not going to happen any longer. Okay, there is no room for a thought experiment here. Okay, you want to experiment? Go somewhere else. So I expect this all to be cleaned up rather quickly. If not, there will be the according consequences. Okay, greetings, Mr. Tribal Fellow. How are you, sir? Cult member number 420. I can't hear you, Dubby. You're on mute.
Yes, yes, your highness, number 420 here.
This is the first time hearing of this, right? And this is the last you'll be hearing of this. So, chop, chop. Let's get in order, ladies and gentlemen. Time is wasting. Anything that you want to address, Mr. Tribal Fellow, before I move forward with the evening's festivities and headlines?
Yeah. I was noticing that the chat was divine, looking divine last night towards the end of the broadcast. That was quite a
1 second, Mr. Tribal Fellow. This Yurt person is having a complicated emotional response. Let me give the Yurt Fellow some clarity here. Yes. 5 minutes in the chamber. That's where we get all the emotional responses in order. I shall see you in 5 minutes, Yurt Fellow. Ta-ta. Back to Mr. Joe Biden, one of my correspondents, of course.
On the national campaign team and who's going to lead him into 2024. And what this looks like it is setting up to be is a Biden-Trump rematch. If you look at who is winning right now in the Republican race.
Emery, what's so important to me is he's got to meet with donors, meet with this, meet with that. Does he want to meet with the left? Does he want to meet with a huge part of a Democratic Party to the left of Joe Biden?
I think this is a president who is going to want to meet with everyone as he goes into 2024. He needs every single Democrat, left or right, to vote for him in the next general election. And what you saw in 2020 is this is a president who had to really lean into some progressive values and items on the left that they really want to see through. Things like climate change. These are things that we're able to get youth voters out in large numbers. Student debt relief. These are talking points that the president is going to obviously need to have. We want to make sure he picks up those votes.
Talking
Do we have a
points.
sense of how
Talking
important it
points
is for
says-
President Biden to get reelected, to see the economy continue at pace, that sort of the economic growth can't necessarily face some of the vast consequences that people have been talking about for him to get reelected?
Well, the economy already is going to be a huge issue going into 2024. So while the president announces his 2020 race, we heard from the RNC, and this is what their statement was. I'll bring you a bit of it. They say Biden is so out of touch that after this current crisis after crisis, he thinks he deserves another 4 years. And one of the first things they talked about in this statement from the RNC was inflation will continue to skyrocket. So you can already see the Republicans are trying to make the economy the front and center issue, but that also is easy for them, right? Because at the moment, a huge issue that Republicans are really struggling to have a singular united message on is abortion. That's something the Democrats are really trying to harp on.
Your thoughts on Joe Biden running again, getting it all finished this time?
I'd say he's probably AI if they're going to do it another time, because the AI is good enough to pull it off. He's not like much better than AI. So I can see it being a total deep fake for the entire presidency. It'd probably be more convincing than the character they get out there sniffing baby hair and whatever else it does when it's on camera, which is, I think, just another distraction so people can talk about, oh, look what's happening here. While in the meantime, things are happening that are people are just not noticing at all. However, that's the mainstream. The rest of us are out there doing stuff, making changes, taking what we have and putting it to use. In the meantime, the rest of these idiots are just going to sit there in their ignorant 15-minute cities and fester and like disease pustules and stew it in their own juices.
Yes. So this Thunder Chicken person, I don't remember saying that we had room for a Thunder Chicken here, Mr. Tribal Fellow. We might
unless it'll be part, unless your eyes, it'll be part of the royal feast. We will
yes,
the Thunder Chicken.
Yes, it would seem so. Thunder Chicken, right yourself immediately, or there will be consequences. I'm done piddling about with lowly slaves on the metaverse. The cult is in full swing, tribal person. One second. I believe the group orgy leader has arrived. Yes, cult orgy group leader, thank you for joining us as I've summoned. We will move forth tonight with the festivities of the hedonistic kind. We'll be bringing that Ian fellow to work the glory hole again for folks like Scott and others. Which reminds me, where is the Dark Knight triple folded one? I must speak with him at once.
Yeah. I'll send emissary to summon him. Come, get the Dark Knight.
Mr. Tribal Fellow, we have another miscreant here. This Top G fellow. No room for Top G here, little guy. Please change the moniker immediately.
The words are too long, too, Your Highness. We must eliminate him now.
Yes, bring forth the wenches for copulation. Have them examined immediately by the cult member, number 77, gynecologist. Come, gynecologist person and group orgy leader, let the festivities commence. First, we must vet these field beasts. Women, of course, of a lower level of the species, and they will be treated in kind. Now, let's hear from Mr. Trump, one of my correspondents.
You could take the 5 worst presidents in American history, and put them together, and they would not have done the damage Joe Biden has done to our nation in just a few short years. Not even close. Thanks to Joe Biden's socialist spending calamity, American families are being decimated by the worst inflation in half a century. Banks are failing, our currency is crashing, and the dollar will soon no longer be the world standard, which will be our greatest defeat in over 200 years. Real wages have been falling 24 months in a row. In other words, under Biden, workers have gotten a pay cut each and every month for 2 straight years. We have surrendered our energy independence, just like we surrendered in Afghanistan, which we had just a short time ago, and the price of gasoline just hit a 5-month high, and it's going much higher than that. Under my leadership, we had the most secure border in U.S. history by far. Never had a border like this. Under Biden, the southern border has been abolished and millions of illegal aliens have been released into our communities. What's happening now is beyond belief. They're coming in from mental institutions.
Right.
And prisons are all being emptied.
I see
They're
that.
being dumped into the United States of America. Many of these people.
I just want to be clear. I agree with Donnie on all this, and I'm seeing many of these folks showing up on my panel nowadays. So I know it's true. They must have opened the prisons and asylums. They're all filing in here. So if anyone wants to do any more investigations, this would be the place to start, I suspect.
People are very dangerous. They're being dumped. We're like a dumping ground.
Mm-hmm.
Our cities have been overrun with homelessness,
Yep.
drug addicts, and violent
That's
criminals
true.
who are being released from jail en masse with no retribution whatsoever,
Mhm,
while law
mhm.
enforcement is weaponized against law-abiding conservatives or Republicans or people they just don't like. Our children are being indoctrinated and mutilated by left-wing freaks and zealots.
Yep.
The senior ranks of our military have gone completely woke, and our military is suffering greatly. Biden has totally humiliated our nation on the world stage, starting with the Afghanistan disaster, perhaps the most embarrassing event in the history of our country. It meant so much to our enemies when they watched that horrible retreat. Russia is teaming up with China. Iran is days away from a nuclear bomb, not even thinkable. Ukraine has been devastated by an invasion that would never, ever have happened if I was president. And Joe Biden has led us to the very brink of World War III. They say Trump was right about everything. Well, I'm not predicting World War III, but I will say this, we're very close, and they're only talking about nuclear weapons. On top of it all, Biden is the most corrupt president in American history, and that's not even close. Nobody can believe what's going on, with, again, no retribution whatsoever.
Right.
With such a calamitous and failed presidency, it is almost inconceivable that Biden would even think of running for re-election. You know what happened in the last election? They cheated and they rigged the election. But I promise you this, when I stand on that debate stage and compare our records, it will be radical Democrats' worst nightmare, because there's never been a record as bad as they have. And our country has never been through so much. There has never been a greater contrast between two successive administrations in all of American history.
Right.
Ours being greatness and theirs being failure.
Right.
With your support in the election.
You know, it's not like this stuff's ever set up to be, oppositional, right? It's not like this stuff's ever set up so that exactly what you just said might be true, but for a reason, so we just tear this motherfucker in half and go back to war and economic collapse. Right. So the two wings was never meant to work. It's an obvious false choice. Folks are pimped and macked on corporate status all day, every day, fascista, 24/7. They don't know or care. So you like it, I love it. Let's listen to the rest of this fucking clown, who, if we do lesser of evils, is, I guess, better than the other complete clown. But none of it matters because it all goes to the same place. So just keep engaging in false choices. Seems to work.
Election. We will defeat Joe Biden in 2024. We will rescue our economy. We will crush inflation. We will stop the invasion on our southern border. We will restore our nation's dignity, and we will prevent World War III from happening. Together, we will all make America great again. Thank you.
Right. How bizarre. Okay. So, any thoughts on that? Greetings, Phoenix Joshua. But there's no room for any Phoenix Joshuas here or anyone else anymore. This is officially a cult now. Always has been, always will be. Feels good, right, Tribe? I see the weight lifted off your shoulders because you knew it was a cult the whole time. We all did. We tried to deny it. Folks wouldn't accept it. So you can't beat them, join them. We came out in the open. Why lie? Love is love. You got to be proud to be who you are nowadays. So, yeah, I'm going to expect the names to just quickly start changing down there. There's 30 minutes or less on that clock, and I don't see much movement from a lot of folks. So, I know it's going to happen. A lot of it's going to come down to the wire, and we're going to have some fun. I'm going to go to blocking everyone for 5 minutes at a time because it's a new game in town. Okay. And they don't know what Paulie's up to. Right. You're not supposed to. Future proofs past, QAnus, trust the plan, storm coming. That's all you ever know. You could trust that. You could trust me. Hashtag trust me. So go ahead and change the name rather quickly. I might even start early. I've already started early with some folks. 5 minutes at a time. Scott Core. Yeah, I'm going to start on him right now. Okay. Because you know what? I just can't wait, tribal fellow. So 5 minutes in the chamber. Yeah, the tribal fellow is shaking his head because he's disgusted with your poor performance once again. These folks can't get anything done. So we'll give them a little bit more time. All these folks who are slow on the uptake, they might be of an inferior genetic. They can't figure out how to get into the YouTube and change it. I don't know. But, the time is ticking, sir. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this comes to what we were saying, the epigenetics where.
Oh, I got to stop you. Yeah, no, there's no bribes. I don't bribe. Niall Roman just sent me 5 pieces of four-ply for a bribe donation because he doesn't want to change his name. No, sir. No. And I'm not sending that 5 pieces of four-ply back either. So you will change the name. You will adopt, and I've even been more lenient, okay, because I'm such a magnanimous and loving man, always giving, grateful and thankful. So I even said you could do your cult member number and then your position in Unslavia. And if you want to add a color for the festivities, that's fine. If you don't want to add the colors you name, you don't have to. Just make sure you have your cult identification card on you at all times, which elucidates what color you belong to, right? Because there's going to be team events. So, in order to participate in those events, you have to have that card and other benefits and privileges and services. I feel like this should have been posted somewhere. The Yurt Fellow says, no, sir, that's not how this works. And 5 minutes in the chamber for you. You've earned it. You've earned it. There's a lot of questioners here, even though the Yurt Fellow knows he's our cult anthropologist. Okay, so I don't know his number offhand. He'd have to check the packet he was given for his number and color, but we do know he is the cult anthropologist. So quickly, Yurt Fellow, remedy this problem that you have. And others. I see others down there. It's not escaping me. Jackie Fox, right now, 5 minutes in the chamber. Okay, because see, a lot of the women of Unslavia, they forget about the white gorilla, how I don't play favorites. So when I see like more women not conforming, I say, oh, I know, it's feminine ego because they've gotten what they want all their life from these other bozos they're messing with. And I'm not saying that's Joshua. All right, I'm just saying it might be their daddy. I don't know who it is. And I'm just, throwing darts in the dark. So we're going to have to humble some egos here. It's part of the cult training. So when I see women who, are not submissive and not teachable and can't go with the flow, it's 5 minutes in the chamber, maybe even 10 minutes for them. The lesser of the species, Mr. Tribal Fellow.
It sometimes takes a little bit more. One thing I will warn you is they understand the subtle art of torment. So be cautious on how you wield the power, Great One.
Sir, please do not question my ability to lead at these trying times. This is what I was built and formed for by the universe. So please, Mr. Tribal Fellow, settle your heart. Trust in your Lord and Master, as it says right there, cult leader, Lord and Master, Paul Enslaved. Trust that all will be well in the kingdom of Enslavia. I prefer grape drink at the cult meetings. Well, there'll be multiple flavorings of soft drink for you folks who are choosy. All right, what else do I have here? Yes. Washington bans sale of assault weapons. Assault weapons. Assault weapon. Assault weapon. Sorry, I got stuck on a loop there. Not too sure what assault weapons are. I think they mean certain rifles. What else do I got here? Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit low energy today. A little bit slow on the roll. I put in a full day. I was out in the light. I'm morbidly obese, and it's taking a toll on me. So Governor Inslee to sign gun reforms into law. Right, got it. Washington bans sale of assault weapons. Let's go to that. Some technical difficulties here, Mr. Tribal Fellow. Let's try again.
So we don't have a waiting period necessity for signing a good bill, so I'm signing this bill.
We're into sheep slaves.
Congratulations to everyone in this step forward. We know we have more work to do.
Nice mask.
You're Washington. Congratulations. These weapons of war, of assault weapons, have no reason other than mass murder. Their only purpose is to kill humans as rapidly as possible in large numbers. And I will say this.
1 second. The town crier has appeared, Mr. Tribal Fellow. The one snafu snaps.
Yes, the town cry.
Greetings, snafu snaps. How are you?
Jack, tell
Your Highness,
Mr.
I'm officially-
One
I'm officially
second.
blocked.
1 second, you filthy slave in the back. I guess every village has to have its idiot, Mr. Tribal Fellow. Go ahead, snafu snaps.
I think I need to be knighted and find my cult member ID. I just got blocked from Talcottism forever. The
Sir,
BLOCK.
have you remedied your moniker? Is your moniker proper, sir? Cult member with number and or color and position in cult as assigned?
Yes. Let me correct
You of course are the town crier and or village idiot, whichever you prefer. Yes, precisely. Is there anything else I can help you with, Mr. Snafu Snaps, at this time?
No, I'm working on my cult membership ID, getting registered, doing it all.
Hold on, the Provo child has appeared. Provo child, you will be timed out upon citing at this time. Just show me a cite. Provokes the vulgation. So 5 minutes. 5 minutes in the chamber. Provo child. Provo child was very uppity last night. Tribal person. Very upset and triggered.
My
Maybe he-
king, our king, we come,
Go
I come
ahead,
with
down
distress.
crier, slave.
Yes, I come with distress to the kingdom. I need to ask a favoritism here. You need to help the Talcotisms. They are enabling the Talcott, and now he has become completely Nazi, grinding, ready to burn the people, throw them in the ovens. The moose has become his Gestapo. And the kingdom,
Just as I had suspected, the kingdom of Quiet, slave. I have all the information that I require. I had a suspicion that the kingdom of Talcadia would achieve a rise beyond its years and means. Now I must implement destruction. Bring him to me. Where is this Talcadian slave? I'll wait.
AR-15s should not be idolized. They should be prohibited, and that's what we're doing today. On the sale, distribution, and marketing of their products. We're asking firearm dealers and manufacturers signing this with 2 pins. First, one for Jamie. Jamie, congratulations.
These people are disgusting.
That's it right there. That's the thing.
Rapid fire.
Oh, that's scary.
Kill multiple humans as fast as human.
Whoa, he's lying. He's lying again. He's telling everyone there's still automatic weapons. No, those have been gone for like 20-something years. You could still get them. They're just like 20 grand per piece. So, you could walk right in anywhere and buy automatic weapons over here, and you just can pay $20,000 per piece. And guess what? It doesn't matter because automatic weapons are not as efficient as single shot and triple shot burst. That's why when you go overseas, they only use single shot, triple shot burst. They don't use fully automatic weapons unless it's support weapons, heavy machine guns, which is not the equipment we're talking about. These are typically not squad automatic weapons. Support weapons. These are rifles, what they're calling assault weapons, which are still, by and large, not fully automatic. That's been changed state by state, with few states who have not conformed. So, more bullshit.
We're talking about 19th century technology here. It's not like your typical machinist or metalsmith or gunsmith couldn't figure out what to do anything with the thing, let alone build one from scratch. It's not as they would say, rocket surgery. Why do they have to make it sound like they have control over something so simple, like saying that you can't make a valve to shut off your water?
Bible person, 1 second. Please check the log.
Oh, Lord.
Has
And I liked it. He threw me the title of anthropologist, and I love that. He spoke right to my soul with that. But I thought we were moving away from the titles and the numbers. Yeah, EBT stolen from a loop too. There's weird stuff going on out here. Weird conversations. My weird AI glitch. It's kind of nice in a weird way. Oh, Christos ended up deleting that stream, RT. What is happening out here? We lost it. Everyone went Camp Cupcake and we lost the whole vibe. We got so high vibing, we took off and then we came crashing back down to earth with titles and numbers. Yeah, Moose, you know what's going on? Unslavia has declared we must accept title or number. We will be excommunicated. We're trying to figure it out here, sir. Moose and Moose too, and I love Moose, and I sort of love the vibes over in Talcadian land. But then I remember certain stories, in these like mythological stories where like the enemy camp is sort of led into like a great feast of high vibing, and then slowly things change. That's like the Talcadian vibes. What did you all do? Are you talking Paul Enslaved, Lord of Unslavia, has declared that all citizens of Unslavia must take title or number to participate. Well, I think you got it. I think you have to do the work here, EBT. I know. I almost went to it. I almost did it, and then it speaks to my soul. It's sort of like metaphysical kneeling. And though I consent in so many ways, I'm such a strong supporter of this need to metaphysical kneel. I don't know. Does anyone have any opinions on this? People feeling conflicted. It's wild. Like I said, I wasn't going to go live, and then I heard this, and I was timed out a couple times, and I thought I better fire this up, figure out what is taking place. Yeah. RT, I caught just a little bit of Unslavia with the Chalk Body Outline crowd, and I thought it was pretty good stuff. I thought, RT, you're doing really well. I thought the conversation was interesting, and an interesting mix of panel and opinions. The little part I saw was where Rusty was talking about sort of being into the same material and as Paul, but then having some difference with him. Here's the always sensational and controversial Illumitami. Welcome, Illumitami. Are you going to be changing your name to participate in the chat, good friend?
What do you mean? Hold on. Before we get into it, I want to say I would have jumped up just as fast for that Z feller. So what was the question?
What?
Just start with the question. I just want to open with that.
Say what? How you doing out here? Did I hear you?
Okay, I was implying you haven't had the sack to get up here in a while on your own channel, and I'm saying I'd jump up on panel just as fast for that elusive Zemetic fellow, or whatever the word is.
Well, I've been adventuring in the mountains, and I've been around Illumitami.
Yeah, I've seen you. I heard your stick. It's a thing.
It's
it's
thing.
something. But what was the question?
Well, Paul Unslavia, Lord of Unslavia, has declared that all chatters must either.
Did you see my comment before it came up? My
No.
chat? I said I have always been. Hold on, I forgot my TV's going. I said that I have always been me, waiting for all of you to get your turn with whatever this bullshit rotation of controlled enemy shit is. We're all fallible people getting up here. Like, you're either like I think all the panels forgot from the beginning, no matter what you think of somebody you're gonna bring up, you need them. None of you can just sit there on camera alone. That's a feat in itself to get any kind of YouTube big from sitting alone in front of your camera, working off your own shit. Like I'm not gonna rag on you but like the take on the tranny thing with Benton, it's like totally the opposite of what people are taking issue with.
All right, go ahead. What do you mean?
I don't know. Now, are we going to do chat attention or not chat attention? I see respectable people in it, but this is another thing I'm going to establish.
Well, no, make the point related to what was said to Benton earlier.
Oh, I was just saying, like, respect. I don't want to get into it because we're not sitting there while you're in that conversation, but like respectfully, not making you a dumbass or anything. Like, all the points, like, I see that's your take on it, but then when we look at the population and why they're bitching about it and how things are getting voted down, it's a little bit different, or a lot different.
Like, in what sense? What part is different? So my point was they're using an uncanny. My point was that they were using an uncanny social phenomenon to sort of use it as a dog whistle to galvanize certain segments of the population on both sides of the political, social value spectrum. Right? It gets both sides all riled up. And I was saying that transgender people.
It's just like, why say it gets both sides all riled up when it's like one side is riled up because they're pushing it and aren't getting it at the speed they want to fast pace it, and the other side is riled up because they can't stop it and it's fucking with their fucking children.
Yeah, I understand both people have a perspective on it, but the degree it's
and
fucking.
That's how you're gonna get anywhere with whenever we sit up here and say, well, that's just like your opinion, man. Because I'm on the parents' side and I hear a lot of shut up if you don't have kids. on all kinds of subjects. And I say having kids is more of like putting responsibility on those people than to say, I got to shut the fuck up about it. Cause I am aware, I'm so aware of kids and what that takes and what you should do, that's half the reason I don't have that. I'm getting in buttholes here because let me tell you what I'm really mad about. Let me tell you what I really feel about. You know, I've been hanging out, right? You said me and Christos were hanging out. No, me and Christos planned a one-on-one with very discretionary bring-ups for like 3 days of him stalling and procrastinating. As every possible day, I'm trying to time it out so that my life can fit eating a questionable tab of a potency I'm not aware of, as it was a gift from a past business person I employed, you know? And fucking, we planned that for 3 days. And it was all about like, look, man, you know, he's done that shit. It's got to be cool, you know? You control the environment. You like, and then he like abandoned all that. And like, he's like, well, do it live. I'll abandon all that. It was crazy. You're very confused, DBT. You're another one that's stalling on your posting, and Moose can be the fuck out because he doesn't want this to go his direction. You guys keep all talking like this is a career or you're doing a thing. You are crawling. You are not to yet walk, any of you, because I'm sitting here watching Creator Clash coverage. Like, to think this platform would enable any of this and you still sit on this platform abiding by it and then abiding each other's petty bitching and who has a wrench, who doesn't have wrench, and how they use the wrench they have. What was the first question they're saying I got off topic about? Hit me with it again.
About Paul and Slavia declaring title or number. Was that the
And
original
I
question?
just got, how is everybody now not visible on Paul as he reinstated mine with no intention from me, like trying to get it? I said it whenever I went up there and he kept backstaging me. He said something to where I just replied it to like shit along with him. I was like, okay, then reinstate, like, yeah, make me visible again. And it caught me off fucking out of left field that he remotely did it. I was taking a gas, literally. So why are all of you off? I'm not accusing you guys of a failing thing. I'm saying, what the fuck got some of you off? I thought you were in his good graces.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought.
Of course, just like you see me going up there going, hey, you remember the good times. Like, you remember when we used to cook a little, you know, we didn't even say cook back then, but me and Paul, we had a fair amount of recipes we could throw down. And that has to, just like someone would like delete their old channels, that's over. And now you guys are left to wonder how, and I wonder too, I wonder with you like hopes and prayers.
Yeah, I think it's more just interesting from the social dynamics perspective. Like, I'll be completely clear. I was halfway thinking about going along with it, you know, just for the bit. But then that's what I like about the thought experiment. You know, something in me is like, I can't really do that. Right.
Okay,
because
so let me arm you for the future. Like, I see a dude still doing a lot of power grabs, still doing a lot of virtue signaling on peasants that have proven low class enough to follow, that he forgets a whole season and a half he spent on this is all a social experiment. This is just clowning around when it starts to matter too much, man. And everything is relative to if there was a season where he was tongue in cheek as a man using terms he doesn't know he's doing wrong, or it isn't really that, you know. It's like I've been trying to tell the Thorpes whenever I can get an angle in on they're usually doing their thing, and sometimes they can do this. And I think that's why I'm going to bring in the PR agent. And with that PR agent, I think I see how I could invite any channel, or visit any channel as the PR agent and get a new angle to keep the rationale between, like, there's that time you're on any panel where the host is doing their type of thing that you can see, oh, that's like Yurt's channel now. Like, now he's in his flow state of doing the real Yurt channel, and I can install most of us in there, not us, I don't have one, but most of you in there that go to that at some point, I could make that list. And then the PR agent would be like, listen, this is how it's getting out of the thing that you're all kind of like the association.
Is that what that Scott
they all
dude is
have
doing?
is
He's
what's
this
holding
new
you
Scott guy. It's like everything was high vibing, and then suddenly we got like talent agents and producer mooses.
No, that's the bit. That's the bit. This is what I'm trying to tell the Thorpes that is happening to them, that happened to me, and will happen to all of you. We all have a mode where it's like, oh, it's a riffing day. We're just shooting the shit. We're back at the gym smokers today, just having fun. And then we all have a day we can get like economical or informative or fucking existential. And to downplay someone's intelligence or contribution, you will grab something, like not you, but one will grab something from a joke around day and install. That is him. Like, it happened to me. It happens to the Thorpes. It happens to everyone eventually, depending on, how the Lewinsky blowbangs treat you at the time.
Right. So what's your advice then? Like, because that's what I'm hearing. You claim to have a lot, and I think you do a lot of experience. And what's your advice?
The advice would be relative to, like I said before, is the channel pretending or actually legit striving to be a career-minded channel, or are you just here for video Facebook? Like, because that's what a lot of issues channels are running into. Like, the Thorpes are a family going through a thing, but they're still good enough to do it live on YouTube, share the business they choose to share, make fun of the shit they choose to do. Like, I love Grace because she says faggot more than I do, and she's fucking wonderful, but she's not always winning either. Like, a lot of what you talked about with her commanding a panel of people, that's a panel of people being civil to a young lady that's partaking in one of those joke days while being okay to make fun of their gay son, hoping you don't be the one making fun instead of just laughing at the jokes they make of their gay son.
Well, when I said commanding, I meant that more relative to the panel and her participation and all that. I was just giving some encouragement. I wasn't necessarily.
No, I'm agreeing that she was doing good. I'm saying Moose, Tommy sucks because he doesn't share your emails like your daddy did. Slow your roll, faggot. I'm talking to Yurt, who I have more faith in than you and Jack working together, all right? Just say that you're a video Facebook and you're fucking good to go, boy. You can be as fake as you want, you little Zuckerberg, you. Where were we, Yurt? I'm sorry. I am fed up with some shit today. I'm not saying you were downplaying Grace. I'm saying you see a thing in her too. I agree. And here's where I'll throw some rationality into my view on it. So, I mean, you're not on trial here. I'm saying I opened with Yurt. I wish you hadn't have slowed as much roll as some do and might not hear that from their viewers.
Specifically into what? On the Enslavia topic?
No, whenever you said you had been traveling, whenever I took displeasure in your lack of frequency, I'm just letting that be out there because you can't trust people to represent you. If I want to tell anybody in these streets something from me, I'm going to go to them,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I tried to reach
a little
out
bit.
to
I saw the Christos. I thought you and Christos might have had a good mix, so I don't know why he deleted it. I don't know what happened, but
no, I don't want to sit here and act like I'm flaming him at the stake, but I kind of have not heard from him since. And like I said, that's the weirdest part is like we did run into a technical thing and some stuff happened considering I was about to go like ethereal or out of body because I was already just like for my my condition, right? That I was in, that we made the whole like tried to time it out and do it thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because once I look,
I don't get why Christos would do it like that too. Just fire it up, Christos, and let you come up. You click the link and that's it, right?
No, we planned for 3 days, and even day of, it's like I strategically timed out that tab to get a little opening time and then just let it wash over me under like him understanding and have done things like that. And he took like like some dudes I lived with one time when I was in my room just playing video games unaware. The one had never done that substance before, and I had always told him, "Oh, I could totally take somebody through the first time. I wouldn't let anything sketchy to happen." Well, the other one gave it to him, not telling any. Well, he knew he was taking it, but then sketched him the fuck out until I had to come out to see what the commotion was. And I'm like, for Christos to know what that shit is, and then just we rolled up to it talking about like, yeah, let's show these channels that you don't have to sit and stress your viewers, that you can just be two people shooting the shit, and if they want to watch it, they can watch it. And halfway through, when it was, you probably did see the part we were flowing, that was going good, and then all of a sudden he's just worried about viewers, bringing people up, and he derailed the whole thing, and then used terminology that he knows I would get sketched out by as the control group on this substance. It's like people that do that shit know how to accommodate people that are on it. And I'm not saying I needed babysat, but it's like you don't sit there. Like if you were on it and went to a club, you wouldn't sit there and let the club get like a worse and worse situation. You just go leave and find it.
I'm sorry, I lost that a little bit. I just want to follow you. You were doing that on Christo's show?
Under his knowledge and preparation.
Oh, okay. I'm following. That's why you were setting it up. That's why you were setting up. I'm sorry, I'm a little slow. That's why you were setting it up days in advance.
About seeing it.
I'm following you.
Say you saw a thing. What are you telling me?
Well, no, I watched up to the part. I did not see that part, so I need to go back. I obviously have missed
from the beginning to a thing, or what?
I must have seen just the very beginning of it because I was hopping around.
When we talk to each other and like do our finger pointing in these streets, and people act like I'm so like cocky and above it all, it's like all these people sit here and make references to things and then show me they didn't really even see it or know what the fuck they're talking about.
I said I didn't see it. I said that from the beginning.
Right, and so even on Benton's, even over on Benton's, you're like, yeah, Christos and Tommy are hanging out, and you like.
I liked you guys hanging out, dude. I didn't watch the whole thing. I apologize to you. I wasn't even speaking about that. I'm commenting on a general aspect of things, and I got to say, like to that point, Tommy, as I have more,
I am commenting on a general aspect of things. It's like all of this because
people are commenting and not really knowing what's going on, but people are making so much content, I can't possibly watch it all, dude.
Right, and it's like that's how you're all dragging each other down because you're still like showing up and restreaming and like referencing and connecting, and you don't realize that this pool of viewers is already like not gonna keep up with all of them, and because you guys won't niche like the up that tower, the first roll of like if you are going for those numbers, like fucking niche, because us viewers, and that's what I did long before I traveled these panels, the viewers want to know to a certain extent what they're showing up for, and if you do make them show up and just figure out if they want to stay every day, more often than not they'll just not. And if everybody wants to be like so greater than thou to each other or so wink and a nod, it's like just lose the numbers talk, lose the discretion of who you want to say is bringing you down as a voluntary member of your panel, and remember what you need to do this, or if this even has the potential to go up the tower.
When I don't really see it as a going up the tower situation, not because I'm not interested in going up the tower or think I'm better than that. I really don't. It seems more
and it's all the context of in the moment. Like me and Christos agreed, and I'm not saying he's any kind of slugger and he's no kind of batter in these streets, but fucking yeah, man, it's like remember the fucking first time we were ever gonna one-on-one, and you had no problem with dropping my clout name and your title and just leaving me in your chat to discuss what you want to chat, and now you're back with another channel, and you started out trying to
talk about this like weeks ago. We can't just keep rehashing that.
And we can't just go back. You have to like fucking modify and continue, and none of you are. All of you just saying.
Hold on. I want to follow you.
Blah, 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 Chuck. He could have backstaged me anytime if he didn't think it would look bad. because it would. And if you don't think it would look bad, chat, that's why your chat shit.
Well, no, I'm not
EBT,
kicking.
you're the most
I like the
respected guy in my mouth most of the time. And you're
Well, hold
still
on,
not.
don't lose the conversation because now you got me confused. yelling at the
Who's
chat.
Snafu Snap 6 compared to Snafu Snap's MGTOW? Who would say I want to have the name Snafu Snaps? And that is the real Paul, because he had a problem with me saying streets the same way as a problem with me saying walk these panels or whatever I fucking said. I love you too, EBT. That's why I don't bullshit you. I'm not a pessimist. I am a realist. And as long as I've been at Paul or anyone, I'm giving you realism as someone who is discretionary on how much YouTube they would bother watching. And everybody that I'm referring to.
So like tonight, specifically, and we got Snafu Snaps here, we'll bring them up.
Why would you do that? That's what I'm talking about. Why would you support him when this channel you do have to act like you remember the history of is when you were the original fucking defendant about the shit he's still saying that no one wants to listen to. And then he can turn that into anybody, and I won't want to hear it about anybody else either. And you're like, we're going to bring him up. You shouldn't have brought me up this long, but everything I'm saying is the goddamn truth.
Well, no, I'm trying to get to a question, and I like the way you challenge things from a counterpoint perspective.
We're
so
a logical
I like that
perspective.
So I'm trying to ask you a question, but if it can't go back and forth, then we'll move you along, man. If that's what you want, that's not what I want. If you're just coming up to do that and then run, I don't have an itchy kick you out of here finger right now. But I was trying to ask you a question.
See, he's trying to act like he's not Paul. He says, I dislike you, Tommy. Yeah, you only use like, you would have just said hate, you fat fuck.
Hold on. It's Snafu Snaps. Before you jump in here, let me ask Tommy my question.
You're literally going to put him up. Yeah, you literally would put him
Tommy,
on.
quit crying like a little bitch. Let your talk.
Hold on. Chat, what's he going to say? Quick.
Hold on. I'll be right back.
Pause him for a second and let the chat tell us what he's going to say. Okay, chat, before he comes back, what is he here to say?
Tommy, I want to ask you something. So specifically, are you saying tonight
children?
No, I don't care about that shit, Tommy. No, I don't care about that shit. See,
he doesn't know that you're bringing him up to talk about that, and he thinks.
No, I've said that. I've said that to him. I said that to him a month ago.
Why I did? You know why Christo stalled?
See, my clock is ticking now because you won't let me ask. You won't let me ask the question. Then it's not fun, man. Because your shit, this is all rehashed, and I'm trying to ask a different question, which is interesting.
That's my beef with you. Bring him up. Oh my God, what's your question?
But he clicks the link, dude. He clicks the link. That's the way it works. I don't have control over who clicks it or who doesn't.
You do have control over who you bring up from.
Who I bring up, but why would I bring you up and him not up?
Why would you bring us both up at the same time when I just said you've been down that road? You did that while I was walking my dog.
Right. So that's
how I remember that was a time. It's not me sitting on my couch.
So I'm trying to reorient the moment right now, sir.
Back to the rehashment.
No, I'm asking you a question specifically to the point you made.
Let's do it.
Because I listened to what you said.
Okay. I'm not being specific.
I don't know. I think Ernie's sleeping. He goes to bed early. I think Benton is Ernie, and he goes to bed early. So he's probably in bed. My question was, so what you're saying, so tonight, should I not have referenced Unslavia in my title? Was that a bad look? Should I not have even had this conversation? Should we self-destruct this screen because it's corny and I'm involving myself in something that doesn't matter? Because maybe that is true.
With the assumed answer. I'm just going to answer your question you just asked.
I'm giving you my perspective.
Because you are stating in your title that you were excommunicated or banned. When you did it to me,
no, I said possible.
What?
I said possible.
Right. No, I'm telling you that this is honorable, not impossible or possible. We are talking about honorable. It is honorable to say in your title, I was excommunicated from Unslavia. We can all log on, click the link, and see what the deal is. But back on that channel, or this one, which no, is the deleted one, you said tonight with Tommy, like we were going to sit down and talk it up, and you got numbers for that. Numbers I don't claim to bring. But you still left me sit in the chat with those numbers, and then you just rambled on about what you were thinking about that day. And I said, you can do that with your channel if you didn't drop my name dishonorably.
and I heard this point a month ago, agreed, and have largely kept myself out of
Wait,
doing
you
that.
heard what point a month ago?
This about putting your name in the title.
No. That was far more than a month ago. That was when you came back with your new channel. And then after
several months ago, but the point is I heard this and we already addressed this. So what's the point of bringing it up again tonight? That's why I asked the question I did.
Because then we can take it on to like after that happened, just like with Moose's deleted channel. That's where me and Moose had the reuniting squash the beef that made that Dirty Larry dude break down and cry and turn his.
But I thought we
camera
already
off.
did this. That's what I'm saying. We can't
Hold
ever
on,
move off.
hold on. And then
forever.
after your bullshit, then you brought me on here with the guy that just excommunicated you, and you fucking trashed my shit. You backstaged me. You said Paul and Slave wins. Paul and Slave's the entertainer. You got on the Paul and Slave bus. So now you can sit here and legit tell me about why you think you're excommunicated, and I won't judge you.
No, I don't think I'm excommunicated. I'm making a joke about facing possible excommunication for not changing my
intentional excommunication.
You think, or I should intentionally excommunicate myself, or I should be intentionally excommunicated.
I think if I did take everybody's advice and just make a channel, it would definitely be one of the channels in a community of fuck that albino fucking tortilla shaped gorilla. Yes. And then there would be two. Because you don't need it.
But I don't feel that way, though. I don't feel that way.
But there's too many.
That would be inauthentic for me to do that. I don't really think of that dude like that.
Why not?
Because I don't see it like that. For a bunch of reasons.
Right. So
I like the show that he hosts. I like the stances he takes on certain issues, and I like that he drew.
Do you ever challenge him when you don't agree?
Well, I mean, I don't haven't had that much time, but again, at some level, hold on, Tom, let me answer your question.
You're going.
At some level, we have to ask ourselves whether or not doing that even really has value, which is a question I'm open to. Maybe this is a waste of time here, and I want to bring Snafu Snaps. Just don't cycle on the same shit, Snafu Snaps.
I'm only going to reply if it's valid. I agree. I'm done with
Snafu Snaps too. No, I honestly question whether or not doing the personality politics game has any value whatsoever.
This isn't personality. This is contradiction and hypocrisy. Like, do you know?
It's crying to Yurt now, you little crybaby cupcake. Yurt has been doing his thing. You're not responsible or anything for Yurt's success or his building or anything. Yurt has done it on his own with help of others. The viewers and subscribers, and I'll add you in that, but you're more like a piece of sand, a grain of sand on a beach, Tommy. You have no right to tell Yurt that his views.
Anyone who comes up and says their shit up here, so I'm not demeaning him either. I appreciate what you're saying, Snafu Snaps.
No, it's true though. This Tommy guy is crying to you because he's been going around the internet getting called out all day long. And yeah, Moose blocked me. Moose has become dictator with Talcott. Moose, that's not cool. But the truth is Tommy, of all the people running these YouTube streets, now you're over here on Yurt's channel crying to Yurt.
Always have been, you brown fucking faggot.
Trying to make him feel like you created his success on his channel.
This is not success.
All right. Well, see, this is why we can't do it, guys. Because it does just loop. So I get the point. So maybe, you know what? That's it. And that's why I did this. Maybe Tommy's right. And a lot of people are right. Maybe it's just time I go my separate ways on these subjects and just do my own material. Maybe I don't understand what's going on out here. The dynamics. And Tommy, that's partly what's going on here is I'm a little out of the loop on these conversations. It seems like there's a lot going on, and maybe I shouldn't concern myself with it at all. Maybe this is a little sign from the universe. It's time to go my own way. Not totally on the content, but just you're right. Maybe I shouldn't have even talked about this. All right, because what am I really invested? I just love that channel. I love the chat and all that. We'll bring Christos up. But maybe I'll just do my own thing. I'll do my own book reviews and that regular shit I was going to do. You're probably right. I'd like to bring, welcome, Christos. How are you?
Hi.
Are you changing your name, Christos?
Am I changing my name?
Yeah, so that you can participate in Unslavia. Are you taking a number or a title?
Well, I know I should probably go back and see what I missed, but was there a clip you were playing earlier by chance?
Well, I had this clip and I was going to get to it, and then
excommunication.
these gentlemen we all sort of went off the rails together, and so we didn't get to playing it, but I'll just fill you in if you haven't heard. I don't know what happened, Christos. I was sort of looking for the backstory. I'm told this is sort of dumb to be talking about, but I think it's sort of an interesting social media dynamic thing, community thing. But apparently, Lord Unslavia has declared that everyone must take title or number to participate actively in Unslavia. I was offered anthropologist, cult anthropologist, which was very reasonable, and I probably should have just taken that and moved along. But it was raising some moral conundrums in me, Christos, and so I was trying to talk about those. And Illumitami was rightly holding me to the fire for some of my.
Everyone. I'll hold anyone that's not honor able, not being honest, playing their games like at you fat.
There you go.
But go on, Yurt. I like where you're taking it because it's
that's a good point. And so that's what I'm just recapping for our friend Christos, that you were taking me to account for that. There's a couple of things there I disagree with, sort of on the timeline here that we've addressed this, and I also feel a little dirty when I use people's names and titles like that. So you're probably right. That's something I need to.
Am I not doing to everyone what Provo is talking about? Like if too many of us have deemed you dishonor able or a bullshit channel, am I not just doing what Provo just chatted? And is it invalid? Because like I told Christos many times, it's not that I am a troll, because I'm not, but I have been found to troll. And there's always a method or a reason, just like with this dude to my side remotely thinks that
You see
I'm a
what
fucking...
you see what DD just wrote? That's what Tommy's problem is. That's what you may be kind of experiencing. Don't let these fucking people trigger you.
No, that's
man.
the usual
Don't
fallacy.
Everyone
only brings up
Tommy, let's keep the conversation going. Just let Snafu finish his point. We'll go
Which
right back.
one of us is that comment
I wasn't even
talking
fucking
about?
going
Is
rap.
it talking
That
about
Tommy
Snafu?
gets triggered
Is it
in his
talking
feelings.
about you?
Oh shit! I think
what
that
DD
comment was
said is 100% right there, man. Why
Yeah,
let
for
it
you.
affect?
For
I
you,
just said, why,
Snafu.
you know what?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I could tell you why I very much care about the things Snafu keeps saying that have been debunked. Why
Fuck
would I
you,
care?
because you're a pedophile scumbag piece of shit. Yeah, exactly.
brought
You're
him
a
up
fucking
here.
piece of shit, Tommy. Sorry, the optics are high.
All right. I love both. See, this is my problem, Christos. I love all these people so much. I love the characters, even in their complexities. Everyone seems to get mad at you when you talk about stuff. You know, I guess I don't quite understand. But I wanted to answer Didi's question. Was that question for me or one of these other gentlemen, Didi?
That was wasn't a question. That was for you to look at what Tommy was trying to put you to, and making you second guess that you may have done something wrong or done something right. Do whatever the fuck you want, man. I mean, it's either get on the train on the same cart as everyone else or ride your own cart. I mean, honestly,
that's kind of what it seems like it comes down to. You're right. You're right. And it's not affecting me horribly. I'm not in he did trigger some, you know what I mean?
I just heard you talking about you were done. Like, I'm going to quit. Maybe I won't do this no more. Don't let them do that shit to you.
No, I was saying more like Unslavia, like participating in Unslavia. If Unslavia has a new standard that I can't meet, maybe we need to take that lesson. That's what everyone tells Tommy too, right? It's just like, move on down the road if you're not wanted, Tom. And so it's more me just reflecting on that. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just time to move on down the road. But I'm not being too horribly affected. I think it's more interesting, as always, Didi. I don't know how much you know about me, but I'm more interested in sort of the social dynamic aspect, the experiment of these panels and all that from a thought experiment position. So I'm not like losing sleep over this. It would be unfortunate. I appreciate that channel. I appreciate Paul. but maybe it is time. Yeah, Provokid, maybe it is my lane. No, I have tons of other ideas. This just felt compelling, and it provoked me to click the go live. But I hear Provokid. Provokid tells me I need to do other stuff. What do you think, Christos? Do I need to focus on other things? Should we stop this panel interaction?
Well, it sounds like you've been having a lot of interesting experiences outside of here that you've been able to come back and tell everyone, like your family trips. So it seems like you're on the right path right now. I don't think you haven't been like going live too much or posting a bunch. So I don't think you're involving yourself too much in these metaversal things, if that's what's being maybe inferred by anyone here. It sounded like Tommy might have been saying that to some degree.
No, I don't want to speak for Tom. I think his point is more like keep going with the concerns that you had about Paul enslaved in the first place, but he doesn't seem to hear that.
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
No,
I'm sorry,
you're all good,
interrupted.
Tom.
I just hate when people are saying it sounds like Tommy is saying.
Okay. Go ahead.
Because like with Dee Dee, it's like Dee Dee, when you tell me to not give a fuck and move on, do you not see that like I'm you, but I don't care if the cops are doing what they have the black and white, like their job may not be what we like, but we're not changing it by getting in their faces. You need to change that like black and white stipulation of when they can shoot a guy or when they can't shoot a guy. And I'm sitting up here saying if these people in this community that doesn't know of the community I go to besides this one, it's like, dude, forgive me for interacting with you all enough that just like in real life, in school, in jobs, if you do enough dishonor Abel, you are fucking a pain in the ass. And you need to understand that we're not saying you're an albino. We're not saying you or any particular thing you're happy to project people have a problem with. Like, oh, yeah, they hate me because of this. No, everyone is consistent. Even the people that look at each other and don't know what rubs them the wrong way, dig a little deeper inside yourself. You'll find they might be dishonor able, not response able in every action we can do or not do that in, like not showing receipts that a man would be so pedo and current substance abusing. I hate getting greeted with it everywhere I turn, and nobody can say this current era, and they also wouldn't be able to prove that the drug one would even matter. I'll never do the pedo one, but even to prove, even to get me to piss in a cup, in which case
Tommy,
any man,
usually guilty people don't have to make fucking shit up and keep looping
and then
over
this
it
is
and
what he
talk
does.
about. Usually
This is what
guilty
people will
fuckers
do
don't
at
have to
your
make
job.
excuses.
Then you guys
Somebody
all
will
right.
buy your shit.
Hey,
at,
DD,
this
by
has
the way,
happened to
DD,
all
good
of
to see you, man.
Yeah, I actually, and Steph, I hate doing this, man. I hate removing you dudes. But I was actually thinking about this earlier, and I saw on the Paul enslaved he led with this, and I actually wanted to talk about this a little bit in another panel or whatever, but it comes up now. When I was listening to that Voynich and El Perro duking it out here, and when you really step back from all these interactions, how absurd is it people getting that sort of invested in the whole thing, right? Like really like so mad at each other and yelling over like this interpretation of a word. Like who really cares about that at all?
Yeah, that
You
was
know what I mean?
crazy earlier.
Like that's what I'm trying to tell Tom and everyone else. I'm interested in the social dynamics. What is it in us that, they both know, those two men know that that's sort of dumb to build a whole case on an interpretation of one word. That's sort of a dumb thing to do. And they're otherwise reasonably intelligent people, it seems. Maybe they're not. Maybe that's the whole point of this. And that's what I'm asking here. Does it matter? Right. And I like this that they were saying nobody thinks it's real, and I largely agree with that. I understand the bit of it. I understand that. But like at one level, when you start meeting demands like that, is that a slippery slope to involvement? And if we're trying to, you know what I mean? If we're trying to, a little bit of what I'm trying to do is take the intensity out of some of these interactions that don't really matter at the end of the day, and sort of put them in front of people and say, like, what about this? Is this really Is this relevant? Is this purposeful? Why are Voynich and El Perro screaming at each other like they're so pissed off about everything? What's that really about at the end of the day?
It's amusing.
Right? It's just
It's amusing to see people lose their cool and start yelling at each other. It's pretty amusing.
May I want to just say something real quick before Tommy and anything.
Don't go anywhere,
remember
Snafu. Check this shit.
I remember when DD first came on the scene, and I am going against veteran charity fraud type stuff as I've talked about. But DD, like, I get like the whole military thing, and he got a lot of shit about it, and I get it, because it has to take him. But what I thought funny is because of the bullshit, then it became garlic bread. And they turned garlic bread into like this fucking hellhole. And like the DD was this terrorist fucking veteran because of garlic bread and this and that. Look, guys, the optics are high. And that's why I said I've been doing this thing for 5 years. Fuck them all, man. Fuck Paul, fuck Wizard, fuck them all. But then again, they are doing their truth, yo. It's up to you guys to decipher, discern, and decide who you like and who you don't, and interact in the way you feel appropriate, whether you think it's good or not. It's a metaverse. But I am telling you right now that there is a lot more real things that some of these people have no clue that are going on with some of these bigger players and channels. But I think that I think you made a good point, Yurt, because I didn't change my name. I got, hit, too. Would I fucking change to cult? No, probably not. I'm not going to fucking sit there and tell another man or their channel I'm a cult member. Sorry. Maybe Sir Snafu. You want to call me that. But no, the fact is everyone's doing their own thing. But you got to look at the optics. And when I saw how DD was with the garlic bread thing, and he's a pretty, like, most veteran dudes like him are pretty sharp. They're on it. They know their thing. But the thing is, too, is that they're the ones learning the most about the atrocity type stuff. Like, like they're learning, like, wow, I signed up. This is, blah, blah. But because of, I'm very proud. That's why I am going against the veteran charity fraud thing. But, over garlic bread and then now this, like you said, so don't feel bad for, what you're doing. And just remember, it's your truth, yo, man. It's a journey.
And I'm not feeling bad at all. It's more just interesting. I'm not feeling bad. And I'm not saying fuck Paul and fuck El Perro. That's not my angle. I was more curious if someone could fill in where this emerged from. So if there was a context.
I think so. I get where it came from. I think, okay, for instance, you hear me yelling all the time. Well, why am I yelling? Because I know some of these people involved in very serious things I'm saying. I don't just say this shit without meaning it, or else I'd probably be gone by now. Right. Get what I'm saying? The things I say, I'm yelling.
Snaps. The reason you're not yelling is because we're respecting your time. You know what I mean? I'm not going to overtalk you on purpose. I may, but like you can come on your channel, you can go on Jack's channel, you can go on OTW's channel and have a fucking conversation without having to yell at each other. You know what I'm saying?
No, I do get that. I do get. I wonder. Go ahead.
I wonder if partly if this is coming from his own, sort of sense of a lack of seriousness about what he's doing in regards to Paul, right? Him trying to tighten up his own thing. Is that what's going on here? Is this a tightening up process that, he's attempting to do here? Is that the angle or just a bit? Is it a loyalty test? Where does it go from here,
He's trying to be an entertainer, I think, to be honest with you.
It is very funny. I like sort of the affect he was doing. It was funny. It was funny. So it's not all that serious. I'm not saying it's that serious, but you know what the trick is, and this is a criticism or the interesting thought experiment of it all is the group think power of stuff like that. I don't like it. You know why I immediately couldn't do something like that? It goes back to that Dr. Seuss story, the Sneetches who get stars on their belly. And then and then like the disenfranchised Sneetches, they want to get stars on their belly. And then the privileged Sneetches want to take them off because the unprivileged Sneetches, I think it's Sneetches, but it's a Dr. Seuss story. And it's one of my favorite stories because it's sort of, it's its own little thought experiment on the dynamics of group think. And I'm just so opposed to that. I'm one of the people that it's like I wouldn't belong to any group that would have me type of thing. And I think what I find interesting about it and why I'd be compelled to like fire up a broadcast and talk about it, like what it means to me, is that Paul and his community, despite all its, you know, complicated parts and maybe hard angles, does seem to be somewhere I would want to belong. So then, you know, a sort of loyalty test like this that, you know, strikes at the center of your, you know, independent mind, you know, to me, that's interesting and it's worth talking about. So that's why I bring it up. It's not that I'm mad at Paul. It's really not that big of a deal at the end of the day, but just the group dynamic aspects and fitting in and you know, what's going on here on these panels and all of this. It just seems like there's been like a lot of weirdness from the little snippets that I'm getting.
I see a lot of censorship too. Just saying, you know, over
Well, yeah, and I
Talcott's
wanted to
Moose.
talk, like with the
I
Moose
see a
thing.
lot of censorship.
Well, and the Moose thing is weird. And I like Moose a lot. I sort of like Jack a lot. But it sort of goes against what a lot of the talking points that we've been making about like the mainstream media and stuff, right? So even though it might be another bit, this idea that someone in the community like Moose would then go play at being a handler when we all know what that is.
Most. This is what gets me the most. And if they're listening, they could hear this, man. On Real Deal Talk Shit. Jack, you can do things, dude. I see you getting on these panels talking, and that's what you're enjoying. If that's all you want to do, then do it. But I see these people enabling him, and it's just there's no actions. And they, all of them. From Paul to fucking Moose to fucking all these fuckers. They're enabling Jack Talcott because, you know, 1 minute they're giving him shit, the next minute they're like, oh yeah, you're great, you're doing good, you're doing, yeah, what, you know, and all he's doing is doing this panel thing. Jack, I've called the UN. There's multiple things, but it's not even a thing. Like Gert said, that's kind of mainstream media, kind of weird. Like, you know, we know a lot of us know where that goes. My whole thing is if these people really were real, okay, bid aside or not, they would actually help the man put action into a plan or do things versus just keep playing this bit of, oh, you're great, you're doing things, oh, you're not. And all they're basing it off is the YouTube channel. Like I said, my first channel was 10,000 plus subs. I was getting 32,000 views of video or more. Okay, I now barely get 98, 20 views. I'm happy, but the truth of the brand, it stayed. My whole thing is if you're really here to do things or help things, like, you could see the optics of it, and you're right. I think it's a big bit they're playing on Talcott, but I think everyone's been enabling him for the most part. I'm not trying to be mean. I think if they gave him more shit or like pushed him into actually putting actions versus just coming on panels and talking, but that's kind of disgusting me a lot lately, seeing the enabling.
And here's
yeah.
And enabling is a good word for it. And as you get more distance from these interactions, the odder it all sort of appears. And I like, you know, my channel's in a thought experiment. I'm a fiction writer. I like, you know, sort of, you know, things like that. I like characters. I like people bringing that element to it. So I'm not completely opposed to it. But even
the concept is great, dude. In a thought experiment, that's a pretty cool concept, especially with all the channels and things here.
But the trip that starts getting me tripped out is I'm pretty like savvy to it. But even I start losing my grip of reality with these characters, with people like, you know, the Thorpes were mentioned, but even people like Jack, because of what you're saying, why are we all humoring him as if the UN thing would ever be a possibility? Like that's so obviously impossible. What does it say about us that we're humoring that idea as like a legitimate?
It's not even that. We know the UN thing is not even, but if he feels it is, here's the thing. He's been months and months and months talk about it. You can call any agency out there. I could call the feds. I could call the FBI. I could call the United Nations. He has made no actions, nor have any of the people held him accountable for like, well, Jack, even though we know it's a joke, like maybe you learn from your actions. You learn from, did it work? Did it not work? If I change the tire, you know, like, you know, you learn one way, and it's like they're enabling him
by trying, and then he's not trying anything.
Nothing other than growing a channel on a panel and going on panels and speaking. Which, if that's what he's doing, I mean, we're in the YouTube game, we're in the social media game. I get it, but because of the pogo people I see in his chats and people I know who are connected to others. That's why a lot of these guys are on my radar in the first place. And I scream and yell a lot, but again, the atrocities and the crimes that you guys don't even have. We, like I said, we had people with dead rats with their eyes gouged out in front of their house. Because, like, we tied monograph to the John Benet Ramsey fucking optics, things like that. The fact is that these YouTubers are doing it, and it disgusts me to see all these people enable Talcott. Because if they really wanted to help, even Moose, okay, well, we know the United Nations is a joke, but let them find out. Have him call. Like, maybe he can get a meeting. They do meetings where they go to like local towns and they talk to the schools, or maybe get him in one of those. But he's not even making moves to pick up a phone.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, even that, maybe, like, it's just, that's not the way any of this works. And there's giant question marks. That's why my point in a lot of this, and what I was saying to like Tom earlier, was like trying to take a little bit of the seriousness out. I know there are serious things that happen in the world and truly ugly, horrific things. And if I had any true direct ability to like stop those things, I would do that. But it's like we sort of are oscillating between two extremes of like complete fantasy land, abstraction world where nothing matters, to sort of like a hyper panic about a crumbling reality that we see all around us. And it just seems like there's something weird going on in these panels. And I don't know if anyone else is feeling this of the last couple of weeks. You know, people are trying to launch these morning shows and get in these dynamics, but like we're a hard crowd to work with, and we're a hard crowd to build trust in. And so you see all that. So I think that's largely, you know, if we cut it all short, I think that's largely what the joke and the bit is now with Paul Enslaved. And this thing is sort of pointing out that aspect of it. But yeah, it's a weird dynamic going on. What do you think about that, Christos? Do you sense a weirdness? I know you kind of hop between groups too. Do you see just like what are we kind of doing? Like, I feel like a lot of these panelists, like, what's sort of the point? Maybe I'm just asking myself, what's even the point of engaging?
Am I still coming in clear?
Yeah. And then we'll go to Dean.
It almost, from what you're saying, it almost kind of sounds like a form of like an existential crisis to some degree, like a metaversal existential crisis, like why are we doing this again? Are we actually getting anywhere with it?
Right.
You know, there's taking inventory, reanalysis of what's really going on here. Why are we doing this? Which is good, because there does seem to be overall a lot of fuckery and clown show stuff going on overall, like you mentioned earlier, getting into heated back and forths over some very considerably small things, like when Voy came up on OTWs to quote unquote confront Wizard. Yeah, that's a good example there. And aside from that, I was just gonna say, I don't know if Tommy is still backstage or still here, but
No,
in regards to that stream yesterday, it started out cool. There was a good vibe, and I was liking where it was going for like the first 40 minutes to an hour. But after that, it just became, unfortunately, more of like monologues coming from Tommy that were really hard for me to follow. And I knew that the audience was not following. And I would try to get back on track, but didn't really seem to get back on track when I tried to get us to focus on a topic. It became very clustered and chaotic. And then eventually, like he alluded to, he actually just dropped out through some type of technical issues. And he ended up not coming back for, I think, like 30 minutes or so. So it became, yeah, I didn't like how it went at all. Like the first hour, I liked it at first, but after that first hour, I was disappointed with how it was going. And it was definitely reflecting when people started dropping off, because I could tell, like, I didn't know where the hell we were or what we were talking about. I know no one else in the audience did either. And that's nothing against Tommy, but yeah, I didn't like how it went at all. It was very chaotic and really didn't make sense. And I'd like to give him another chance, but maybe if we could go into it with a little more structure, because it was a bit casual. We had some things we discussed prior, but we were
Well,
just
and
kind of
Chris,
going
just
shoot
on
the
a side
shit.
note, what is it?
Yeah.
Your mic is crackling a little bit, my friend. I would love to hear from you. I'd like to hear from you more, but what is up with the mic and the crackle?
It's the phone that I'm using. I really shouldn't be using an iPhone 8 still. You should be able to hear me now. It's like a mix of
Yeah,
these
it is
headphones
better.
I
Yeah.
have, and
But
then using a phone that is like past its expiration. Basically, its
But just
battery
a-
dies really fast. So I'm using a phone that is like old.
yeah, I got you. But just to the quick question, short answer, and then to DD, are these panels like a giant waste of time, dude?
Man, you know what? I'd probably lean towards yes over no, but I wouldn't like to say they're completely useless.
I think they're
Uh,
optics. I think it's like if you look
Yeah.
at the real world versus the metaverse, this is, I mean, because think about it. Here soon, if the digital score system comes out, they will make it because it's already in legislation to where the internet, just think of the AOL days, where we had to buy the thing and then the startup, to get even on. They're going to make it where in order to just go to your Google, you have to have some kind of identification of sorts, linked to your thing, whether it's, iris scan or whatever. They're going there. And so internet will be controlled only very soon by whoever is in that system. Right now, we're witnessing the wheat and tear, as I always say, the division, the optics of it, just like we're witnessing in the streets, the bricks being laid out are, so to speak, these panels. Because when I yell pogo, some of them are infiltrated, but like we've had cooking channels, like, okay, so genres are attacked, period. Like the ghost hunters, the cooking channels, the truther channels, this is big stream media. Like, who do you think gets the subs, the views, the algorithms, the ad endorsements, this and that? And then when they cause division within those communities, it just spreads like wildfire. It could have nothing to do with the actual pogos themselves. It's the cult mentality, the narrative, kind of like what we're witnessing right now with just the division of people in the States, and I think it's the optics of we're witnessing, it's not full degree because it's metaversely, which can be real. I mean, how many times have you heard people getting killed over the internet? Millions of times. It's ramping up. Same with people getting jailed now. And I think it's only going to continue. And I think that these panels are just like part of it. I think they're just optics to the game being played.
Yeah, I think that too. And I think it's a disorienting effect in its totality. What do you think, DD? Is there value in this, or are we just sort of wasting our time? Is it just slightly better than television? Is that where we're sort of at? Slightly more educational or participatory than television?
I actually wrote it down. It's what am I learning? So I'll bounce around from OTW, here when you were active, Jack's panel. I won't get on Paul's panel anymore because I've learned, I think, everything I can from there. So, I go where the good conversations are at. Conversations like this. People aren't arguing, yelling at each other, and it's just you see the chat and everyone shit talking Jack, and I understand snafu, with the whole going to the UN thing, but it's like, he failed. He's just got to accept the fact that he failed. It's not working out for him. You know what I mean? That'll probably make you feel better, right?
Well, here's what gets me is seeing these people enable him. It's seeing even Paul, even all of them. They all fucking go in there, and 1 minute they may give him a little shit. The next minute they're enabling him, and of course the Nazi blocking everywhere. Which we're on YouTube. We should be the ones standing against censorship. But no, I think we learn a lot. I think people in the streets, as Tommy says, learn a lot. I think people are deciphering and discerning of the situational world situation we're in right now. And I agree with you. And I liked how you said that you're TV, because in a way it is drama sells, right? Drama sells. We know that. And part of the algorithm, they know that just as well. And that's why I said, when they go in and start division, it could be in a cooking channel, it could be in a ghost paranormal channel, it could be in the truther channel. They do that on purpose because then the channels who are produced and got the hooks, and the divisions with all those, and the other ones are making money and no one's paying attention. I mean, they insert who they want. They're data collecting on what they want. And I think the people are talking too. In their own way, they're data collecting, in a sense, talking, like DD said.
Well, and I know like the president is such a figurehead, and I know he's getting like a lot of talk in the mainstream media or whatever. They're trying to get the next presidential election, dynamics up and running. But I've been thinking about this a little bit with that dude. Like, how crazy is it that such a decrepit, senile, completely incapable person, and I know it's a figurehead position, and I know the real powers are behind the scene, but even as just like a symbolic representation of where we're at. And I was thinking about this book about the Cuban Missile Crisis called "The Week the World Stood Still," about the Cuban Missile Crisis. And when you go read that book, these generals, these super paranoid generals, it's something straight out of Stanley Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove. Like, they're just behaving in such an erratic, they're like, nuke Russia and just like these hyperbolic things, and you just think about like, how would this president withstand any of that pressure? And I know they're a puppet, but I'm just saying from the optic level, like, it seems like the whole zeitgeist, the whole social narrative has completely crumbled. Like, what is in our culture, in our country, what is the glue that binds us together outside of just like bread and circus or sort of outlaw culture? Those seem to be the only, right? It's like, it's a weird arrested development reality that we're in, and I think that's being mirrored in the panels too. But any thoughts?
I enjoy communicating. There's a smorgasbord of people from all kinds of backgrounds that talk certain ways, use different vocabulary, honor able, so learning how to decipher what these people are saying, is it's fun. It's learning what people say in here with with Snafu, the way that people can talk normally and still communicate. You know what I mean? It's just trying to, I don't see this many people in a day. Most people I see, I have my salesman face on and I'm, a robot basically, but here people are being a little bit more real. You know what I mean? At least for what you can see. I mean, even if they're faking it, they're, you don't have to I have a shield up. You know what I mean? You can kind of be yourself if you want to be.
Yeah, I get, and I see this in a lot of truth communities. I get a little tired of the language policing, like the understand versus understand, or in Iowa or on Iowa. I'm kind of like, or good morning. I made that joke last week. Like, I can't say good morning anymore. It's like, no, fuck that. I'm gonna still say good morning. I'm still gonna say, I'm in wherever. I get the distinction. I get why. Maybe there's some point there, but there's a lot of that where it's like, and that's what I was trying to point out in the mode of these interactions, like us accepting things that we know wouldn't fly in the quote unquote real world. What does that do to our own mental state? Like, are we?
You already know.
Yeah, I do. But
what's funny too is we're not even thinking about the frequencies or 5G in effect, and like the devices in our hands, and I think too, like you said, within the last few weeks, you noticed, well, like I pointed out the other day on your last show, when we were talking about the gun optics, about like some of the things that happened recently all at one time. We talk about like the optics of this, that, but we don't even think about the ones that we know exist that are obviously, especially with every one of us who use a phone, who use a computer, and are in the social media game. If you're in the social media game, period, whether you're a viewer, watcher, whether, if you're logging on to YouTube, because there's still people who don't watch YouTube. There's still people who don't, do that. Not many, but we are already logged. And imagine the frequencies. And if, especially individual target is something too, like imagine the tools that they could be using on both with the trails in our skies and this and that, and the nano type stuff to cause these emotions to happen as well. I believe 100%, just like the foods we intake, they say, healthy diet, helps your mind. But I feel that there's a lot of things in play. And when we see the optics of what we're witnessing and it ramping up, to me, it makes me wonder how much of this other stuff that they're amping up as well. You know, I know it's tinfoil hat, but it's true. It's absolutely 100% true.
Sorry. So some of the conversations do start to feel oddly synchronistic between mainstream narratives and things that seem to be happening organically on these panels. But, you know, I have the experience of trying to create content. And when I go do my own thing and focus more on, you know, the real substantive issues of my life, I go back to the true wisdom that better for everyone to think you're a fool than to speak and prove it sort of logic. Like in my own real life, I'm an introverted person and even on this, I keep my cards fairly close to my chest the majority of the time. I can get a little crazy like anyone. But my point is, when I'm away from the social media, I understand that silence is the best policy for most situations in a lot of ways. But the more you engage on this encourages you to jump out the window for entertainment, for views, just to get something going. So that's a weird effect too, where I'm like, I know as a mature adult man that it'd be better if I just mind my own business because of the way of the dynamics of the world. But I kind of took this on because I was interested in doing it. And like what Didi was saying about, you know, I don't communicate with this many people or have this availability to the world that I have here. And it is really fun meeting all these different people that you would have never had the opportunity of and hearing their ideas. And, you know, some of these great conversations that come up that are super interesting, but there's like this whole sort of grungy back alley that's always going on. And then like I turn this thing on and then it's like you're sort of dealing with that, not really knowing what's lurking in the shadows, I guess. And then all your, you know, new internet friends are a bunch of paranoid, crazy people, respectfully, who are pretty interesting, but also pretty, you know, I don't know, challenging, let's say. But I'm rambling. I might cut this short. I don't know. So I don't know what we do. And I see Freedom Growers in there. I asked him, he has not heard about it. Freedom Grower, you want to come up and comment? Will you be kneeling to Unslavia and either accepting a title? You could be guitar teacher, maybe like cultist. I don't know. They're handing them out there. You either get a title or a number. Is the declaration.
I think they even have the cult gynecologist over there.
Yeah, that was funny. It is a funny bit.
Yeah.
It is a super funny bit, and I love it. So this is not at all, you know. It is what it is. It is what
No,
it
it's
is.
a great, like good. Your whole channel or your in thought experiment. I get the concept, and it's actually really cool because like what you just said, you're a family man, dude. You came on, you do your thing, you fucking, blah blah. And I get you're like, oh, these characters, including myself. When I say this metaverse for some of you guys, when big tech is involved, or some of these cult little mentality like trolls and some people, it is as real as you could get, linked to some of the most crimes you witness in mainstream media to what you don't even know. But I also think that we're witnessing just the people discussing, like Didi said, everyone has something to say. They all have opinions right now. And I think it's a double-edged sword. I think there's things that they know that while we're on these panels that they could use against us. But I think as people, like you said, you get to know who you could talk to, who you don't, or how much you learn from this person, how much you don't. And, you just go on your own journey, so to speak. So I don't think the panels are bad at all. The people getting together talking bad at all.
When it's weird how you get sort of in, and I think I was talking about this with Provo Kid last time I spoke with him. It's weird how you get in these little niche realms, but like, for instance, Julia Bastone, Lou Bass's daughter, she did a live the other day, had 500 plus people on that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's no disrespect to OTW or anything, or any of these people trying to do like these morning shows or these super long shows. But you do
okay, you went there. You went there. I'm gonna straight up say it. You went there. I laugh. I see a lot of these fuckers who are just beginning their YouTube journey and they think they're gonna make it big. Some may, some don't. Dude, like I said, I was getting 32,000 views of fucking video. I used to get over 1,000 watching my lives. And then my second channel was big, not as big as the first one. But then as I kept going, yeah, you lose that shit because they will censor you. They will stomp you out. And then you get angry. And then there's no, the content's your shit. But
it
I
does
see a lot
seem
of
like
people, I'm going to
this.
call it out. I see a lot of people, the good guys, bad guys, that have created this YouTube thing. And it does. When you first get involved, like if you've never done this game before, it kind of becomes like part of you, so to speak, and you get kind of like a rush from just doing YouTube or creating. And you can see it in Jack as they brag about whether it's bought or not, the subs going up and the views and whether they say it or not. I hear all these guys talking about the growth of the channels, this and that, blah blah. See, that's why I didn't give a fuck if I'm 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's the message for me. And if I comply, the message of compliance is worse than the message of, being censored. So
And
I'm
I don't know the dynamics. And welcome, Dick. I'm glad that you joined us. And I don't know enough about the dynamics of this stuff, but it does seem like there's way more engagement on this little communities, these community of panels, which are sort of network.
World. That's the same principle we're doing here. But again, I say
It's simple, hard hat, right? So, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Wizard, but I did, so I must have because I'm, I want to talk more about
the number one cult member, so
I
don't block your blessings.
I'm passionate on this topic because I've seen a lot of the change in myself and in others, going from somebody who didn't even want to put a donation link up because I felt like, oh, they're going to judge me, blah, 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 and all the fear shit. And folks going, why are you blocking your blessings? Put that shit up. If we want to give it, we'll give it. Right? So I'm not charging them or anything. I'm not selling my soul. I'm turning down offers. So I don't think that I would have ever known a space quite like this of as much peace and security and empowerment and inspiration as coming on here and being able to make a living doing what I'm doing. Right? And maybe doing better at some times. Because again, with the nature of what this is, it's ebbs and flows, ups and downs. So what a better way to test your teaching. Because I can't punch a clock. I could do 8-10 hours sometimes and get little to nothing. So that teaches me to refocus on where the value really is and why I'm doing this. So again, it's long game. If I can keep a value and an inspiration and a fire and a hunger and all that and an enjoyment, then I already got the value. Anything that comes with that is extra. I've already exceeded my expectations, so I win. Right? To make it simple. Right? I just get to a space even more and more of knowing I am valuable, right? I am empowered. I am inspired and inspiring. It doesn't validate me. It just confirms what I validated within. Right? So that's a good process. But it's not about being in love with it. Oh, you're going to make a better self so you can get to, money and women and whatever the fuck else. It's not that. If you do it for that, you won't get that. Right? So you get the self-respect, then you get to the power, then you get to the money and the women. It's exactly the opposite I've deduced. I don't know when I just looked at it one day, right? And then I go, oh, they gave us the game, but they gave it in reverse, like they always do. So how you could take women could leave. You could take money could be, lost. You can't take my self-respect. That's my truest form of value and source. I've shown that. I live that. So because I live that, I get the other things that come with that because that's rare. Watson talks about ripped, rich, and rare, right? So I'll accept the rare part as one of the necessities nowadays to be empowered. You got to be a rare motherfucker. Well, what's more rare than radical authenticity, accountability, and responsibility? I can't get that almost anywhere. And when you find it, you're going to keep it. That's valuable, right? Something you can barely find, but when you find it, you're damn sure going to keep it. Ask Jennifer.
Hey, Paul, I don't know if I'm reading this wrong, but when I mentioned about Wes and the money thing, I'm not going along the lines that you shouldn't be paid for your sweat equity and what you put out. I'm not going on that. What I'm saying with him was that he seems to really push that you need to be making like fucking $1 million a year and this massive. I'm not saying to get money to make a living for what you're fucking doing and giving and
Sir, I gotta stop you. I just been informed of it. This is an alert, red alert. I wouldn't normally stop you. Massive pussy powwow apparently going on at the Yurts channel because I blocked him for 5 minutes at a time. And he's probably triggered and upset now. So everything is working perfectly. Let's go over to that. I do it every time. I guarantee it's gonna happen, right? All the folks are now gonna reveal themselves. I told you they're gonna reveal themselves once again, all the semis. Right, the folks who kind of like me, respect me, not too sure what to make of me, but when you do stuff like this, they go, "Wow, Paulie's really crazy. He's out there. He really went out the window this time. We thought so," and they're going to start telling everyone how everything they thought so about. So please, fellas, go ahead. Everyone who's normally here, reveal yourselves again. I can't wait for this part. I do this shit like every 6 months. At this point, every few months, sometimes every few weeks, I play a little simulation game. Folks jump onto it, and then we get to reveal everyone to themselves and where we're going to go from there. Oh boy, I love this.
But that's what I'm saying. When people like me have to repeat myself, pogo, but you're like, hey, I want to discuss this subject. Who else would have come on and like pushed it, as you said, push back on the optics of something that we should be talking about? Like, it's actually a very interesting subject and thought. Is it just right away we comply just for a bit, or is it like stand up too, or just
yes. So do we comply for the bit? I don't know, Snafu Snaps. Do you think maybe this is one of the problems you have in your life? You can't bend without breaking, like a lot of the other cupcakes that you talk about. So I don't know. Do you comply for the bit? Are you constantly belligerent and oppositional? Yes. Are you constantly angry with a false cause and finding an out? Yes. Can you never really cooperate or conform in any way, including your presentation and vocal ability? Yes. So you're not usually, like a lot of you folks think you're something and you're really not the person you think that I am, because we're not the same. So, they'll call me oppositional and belligerent and a misfit and insubordinate and all the rest of it. But I conform rather well to certain idea. I guess if you could see it and feel it. Everything else, yes, is metaversal presentment and sometimes a bit. Why you wouldn't want to conform to this when it's going to generate this is beyond me. So you'd rather be part of this side of things than the other side that you now created. See, I didn't create any side, right? I played a little bit of a game. I even said I was going to do it. I did a bit, non-bit. And now everyone's going to get scared and insecure and confused and say, Paulie's an agent. And we kind of knew it all along because he talks fast.
What? Like, so I give you props for even like is saying, hey,
That's
this is
what I
something to
mean,
think
man.
about.
That's what I mean. It's like, when does the bit become, and I don't want to be hyperbolic because I don't think, from what I can tell, I think Paul should be applauded because he wants us to have these conversations. So, really, I'm not hitting him. I'm picking up the ball and running is how I see what I'm doing here, and sort of playing that, that counterpoint role in the talking.
Who wants to be on the losing dodgeball team?
And Unslavia for raising the conversation. But I still think there's a deeper level here where when we get in groups and we start thinking like that, we become highly suggestible. It was a point I was making with the tranny stuff at the beginning of the day. Like the way we're triggered on a lot of these hot button issues, how easily we can be played. I don't think we really flush out even in our own circles here. Like I always think about that with mind control. Like everyone will be like, yeah.
I guess I'm going to have to go out there now. Wizard, that's what it's all about.
But when you actually accept that as like a true statement,
having some like
that comes with a whole shitload of implications.
That's what the Yurts
which are actually
I play into everything they've been saying since the beginning that they're doing that I'm not doing. That's clear, And then folks go, oh, we like what he's doing. We like the idea. We like the potential. It's spontaneous. It's kind of funny. It's everything like how I am that you're not. Interesting, spontaneous. And it's a very interesting thing. But I do want to remind the people, it's a very interesting to see how it went down and how fast and like how many people just instantly. But again, I do commend those who are in a thought experiment right now on the subject. And I don't have anything to say as far as Paul goes. Like I said, fuck them all, except, they all have their own truth. I'm cool with them, but, fuck, like everyone does their own thing. If it wasn't for Yurt, we wouldn't be talking about this subject. Hey, if it wasn't for me looping like a motherfucker, many people wouldn't even know what privately owned government operated is. Like they give a shit, really, right? Like they give a shit, right? But some of us do care. Some of us do care, and I think we're witnessing the optics. And yeah, Dick, I think like either way, it's not good. Like I'm not gonna be no fucking cult member number. I like how you explained it. I'm not in a club. I learned from everyone. That was like a really well way to put it. How you put it earlier.
Well, and what's so interesting too about the whole sort of like loyalty test is how many people of the tried and true like Niall, and all these people that genuinely like him that are like, and that shows that their love for the dude is real though too, because it's like, yeah, I like you so much how you are, but if you do cross the line, it is what it is. I'm not saying he crossed the line on this particular issue, but that's the quality of a real friend, right? Will be like, you're actually kind of fucking up what you're doing here. Right, that's the mark of a good friend, not the guy, not the yes man, not the person that just goes along, but the person that will actually challenge you on if they think you're making a mistake or hear you out. And that's why
kind of like the real friend's not going to patronize you; they're going to shoot straight with you. Not to be argumentative, but to give you that perspective, so you can glean something from it.
Well, that's why I was getting mad at Moose and the blocking and the Nazi censorship over there, because they're enabling Talcott. They're not straight shooting with his ass. No one is. I mean, a few of us, but then we get automatically blocked. But if the people actually gave a damn, he couldn't block everyone if everyone was just real with them. And everyone, for the most part, knows what's up. And they're all enabling his ass. Not one person's really like straight shooting with his ass, like really,
taking a little bit of that outsider's perspective, like when you get a little space on these interactions, it is pretty odd how much
Eric Slave, because he ratings.
What's up, Paul? And finish your statement. What about the Earth Slave? I was taking the ball and running with it tonight. So my love for you runs deep. I hope this isn't seen as
No. I didn't even hear anything that was going on. I was just told that there was a potential pussy powwow.
I heard that
on the rise.
Yeah, it might be taking
a
place.
foot. It was a foot, right?
It is.
I don't know anything about it. So do you want to inform me of the latest developments?
Well, we're just talking about this. We're talking about what this means. I mean, this was a big statement from Unslavia.
Well, yeah, bro. I mean, listen, you knew it. You knew it all along that I was running a cult, right? I mean, you even did a whole broadcast about it. And yeah, I convinced you and everyone else because folks are so easily led to believe I wasn't doing that. But clearly I was doing that. Lagoon Creature knew it. Everyone knew it. So I just came out in the open. I'm running a cult. You got to conform. If you don't, there's consequences.
See,
much like the slavery everyone's living, right? I don't see why everyone's not used to this. You're living that every day in your life. There's real consequences to that, not to this.
I saw this. I saw all this coming, Paul. I saw the high.
Yeah, I do this every few months. I shake everyone up. I do a simulation, future proofs past. And it's not going to stop here because it's going to continue for at least 2 weeks with the names, which means someone's going to see it, run with it, and then get all crazy about it and start a whole pussy powwow like they've done over and over again because they just don't get what it all is.
Yeah.
I think we might be here right now, but, Snafu Snaps might have to go make his own because he's really confused. He doesn't know what's happening. I might be a pogo, is what he's thinking.
Isn't it funny though, Paul? Like, think about this. Like, I went there for a second, and I don't really know how to do this YouTube shit, so I didn't really know how to change my name if that was a thing. But then people are giving instructions, and I went as far. I actually pulled the thing up, dude. And I was sitting there, and I was like, should I do that? Should I change my name? And there was just something inside of me. I just I don't know. I'm in a lot of the ways, but I guess it's a little bit of distance. What does that say about me that I don't want to? About all
Right.
of
So
us?
yeah, exactly. You're a fellow, and this is why I love you. This is why I love you, because I did it again, right? I showed everybody, and it's going to continue to happen if I think like it usually goes. I shouldn't come out of the open this early on. If I was,
Exactly.
if I was going to do what I was going to do, I'd have just played it out, a little bit more. But I'll give you the exclusive here, right? Because I think there's going to be other channels who are just going to look at certain things, ignore everything else like they always do, and make it a thing. That's what I'm hoping for, because that's funny. But what does it say about you, right? Well, I showed everyone again that there is a voice inside of you that shows you that you should honor who and what you are and not do anything you don't think is correct and true to you. Why can't you use that in every aspect of your life? Doesn't seem that most of you do. Very rarely, only times like this where there's no real consequences, and you should want to be part of this because it's a funny bit and simulation and set up for all the other slaves.
Yeah, I see for that point, be a part of it just because it's kind of a funny setup for anyone that might interact with it. If you wanted to just play the bit out.
And then also it's like the more that you really look into it, it's just another testament to my subconscious marketing genius. Because anywhere now anyone goes for 2 weeks, they're going to say, who's cult member number this, number that? And they're going to go, oh, well, we're part of the Unslavia cult. And then they're going to have to go look at it and then get triggered again. Because they're going to go, holy shit, there's a white gorilla and he's got a chat full of cult members. He's doing a cult, And then, for a couple hours, we'll do a little bit of accents and Unslavia Kingdom and talk about the cult members. And it's fun. I mean, they can go back in 2 weeks, I guess. That's commitment too, right?
The optics are high, man. The optics are high. That's all I got.
Optics are high. I think you and the We Are Awake TV are all high. Okay. A little too high for your own good. It's not the optics.
Well, no. Do you not think it's good that we or others are here kind of just think, and it's like, I get what you're saying. You did. We got it for the most part, Paul. We weren't even questioning it. We were questioning like this, the quickness and who and what. Do you not think this is a good conversation in itself, saying just like, what's his name said? He's like, I'm not in a club. I don't want to just like jump on a bandwagon like that to prove whether you're
I
making a
think you
point.
jumped the gun with this one. If you were savvy, which you're clearly not, or you wouldn't be on 5 channels with 200 viewers, you'd have fucking made yourself the town crier cult slave, like I told you. And then there would be the cult psychologist. The cult anthropologist would be right here next to me. And the cult farmer would be down there, and you just set this up more to get everyone more triggered. But you'll learn, like at some point, you'll just fucking get out of your own way and stop being in resistance in the wrong places. And then we can get somewhere. We can get somewhere with this thing, right?
They need anthropologists here. Go to the kingdom.
Go to the UN with Talcott. That's where the answers are going to come.
I'm trying. Moose blocked me. Moose blocked me like a Nazi because we
focus on that. Yeah, focus on Moose and Ian and everything else.
I think a lot of you guys, including you, Paul, I think a lot of you guys are enabling Talcott, to be honest with you.
And actually, you know what?
I think that a lot of folks are like really pissed off subconsciously that like I could say something and it be done like that without any coercion or duress, really. I mean, if you want to play the I 5-minuted people, again, folks are just easily led. I'm like a really pragmatic cult leader, and I'm just able to easily manipulate folks with my silver and gold tongue speech.
And frankly, I think I'm going to change my name, Paul. I think I've come around. I've realized I gotta stop waiting, hating, right?
Right. Stop overthinking. Stop resisting. Stop watching, waiting, and hating. We're doing this together. We're all in this together. Did everyone forget about that?
They need to answer.
Talcott wants me to join his cult, but I can never trust Talcott. But with you, I just find you so trusting, Paul, that I just you win me over. Your community,
because like even if I literally started a cult and gave everyone a uniform just because of who and what I am and how I live, they'd go, this is the best cult non-cult ever. Talcott's actually doing a cult on the metaverse. This is what's fascinating.
Yeah. And I was frankly, my ornery bit that I was cooking up to deal with this was to start the cult of the Lubass, the cult of the bass, where we were going to start handing out pork chops to all the slaves. That was sort of my idea, competing pork chops versus Talcotian philosophy. And I think
Yurt fellow, here's one of the rules of the 48, now 50, ever since Curtis Jackson. Laws of power. Never outshine the master. Right. So, of course, the cult of Lou Bass, while, a great idea, not quite as good as the Unslavia cult. Because, again, it's a narrative that's already out there, so we can run with it, and it'll shake things up, we think. That's what the reports are. I have people for that.
Yeah, that's a big deal. When you get the people and they get all the data for you, I hear that's a big deal. And I don't know if this is a real Jack or
Hey,
not.
that's
But
Mr. Jack Talcott. Jack Talcott, why is Moose blocking everyone? The kingdom of Talcottism is a blocking Nazi land. How come the kingdom of Paul and the kingdom of Yurt are at least you could commerce?
Well, Talcott's so fucked up. He asked me to unblock him in chat a while back. I did, and now he doesn't even come there anymore. He puts in his 2 hours on his channel with his produced show, and he fucking takes off. And now he's here. Talcott, you didn't show up to hang with me today. I did a whole thing on love in the beginning, and it was inspired by you, and you didn't even care. Okay, so you don't love me. You didn't want to hang with me and talk to the people. You forgot where you came from now that you're famous and successful.
I mean, I just don't, in all the real talk, and if this is a real Jack, and we were talking about this earlier, and, I find Jack endearing at a lot of levels, but that people are propping up and humoring a lot of this word salad, sort of tractionless. I don't even know what. I don't.
They're enabling him. They are truly enabling that
word. And here's the deal:
Well, people want him to have. People like to watch him. They genuinely like to watch the guy.
They like to watch train wrecks too.
Yeah, exactly. So whatever reason is an excuse for him to be on there and do something, people will show up and
right. And that's what I said.
He's got a cult following, if you will. Maybe Jack.
Right. That's what I said. Is he just going on these panels yapping, or is he actually he's never picked up the phone to call the United Nations. His Moose is blocking and producing a show. He's not showing Paul or anyone respect that's been there and helped him through any of this. And there you are, Mr. Talcott. You don't have Moose I'm completely blocked because of your Nazi producer. And so, I mean, have you picked up the phone to call the United Nations? I am still trying to encourage you, even though I'm blocked in the land of Talcott. And have you picked a cult number for Paul's Kingdom? Just curious.
I was last night. I think I was number 4. And the color code was green.
Yeah, but you have to change the actual name, like down there that says Jack Talcott. You have to change the actual chat name to be part of the chat now. So I didn't block you, but you have to. That's the new rule, like Bill Maher.
And can you do that, Jack? Will you change that Jack Talcott to cult member number 4 tonight?
I cannot.
Yes, you have to. Why?
I will.
Oh, dude.
I don't even know.
I can't around tonight, Jack.
What if they kicked you out just like you kick people out right now, and then they blocked you because we're talking about you? And you would be pissed. But that's what happens in your kingdom of Talcottism.
Dude, I've been blocked by
you
so
treat
many
Paul like
fucking
shit, and
people.
Paul created this monster.
What else is new? No good deed goes
the fact
unpunished
is,
in my world.
Talcott,
Paul,
you are Nazi blocking Kingdom Optics.
Yeah, and he's got G Moose Ping over there, right? Blocking like we're straight out of. It's not straight out of Compton. It's straight out of China, straight out of Shanghai. Okay,
Now,
so get it together over there. The guy's on a mad tear. You give him the least. A man is defined. We'll do quality cliche. When you put his back against the wall, he failed, or you give him power, he failed.
Hey,
and you guys are all the same. You give them some power, they fail. The least bit, they fail. Show themselves. You put their back against the wall at work, they fail. Show themselves. It's fucking amazing. If you just get with the cliche and understand this, we could all move forward and be better.
Hold on.
Tucker, I went out of my way to support your mission.
You know what? I'm going to fuck Moose's wife, okay? And I mean that in the most respectful way possible. The only way that folks get out of their delusion is with an ego checker, right? Or just dissolution. So I'm going to where's Moose at right now in that camper of his? I'm going down there and I'm going to copulate with his wife, of course, consensually, right? I'm going to show him what it means to be a man of high value and status. And then maybe he'll change his ways. Same with you, Talcott, except you don't have any women in your life that I can copulate with, so I might have to mount you directly. And you might enjoy that. So in which case, we wouldn't achieve the remedy. Your thoughts?
Just
Well,
unblock me before you start the mounting Talcott. You little like for real. Why are you? I called the United Nations for your ass. I went out of my way, took the time for you, and you let Moose block and produce and run your Talcottism. What the fuck, dude? So
I want to
he's a
welcome
blocker.
Jackie too.
He's a
Good
Nazi.
to see you, Jackie.
Have you guys
And-
created the ovens yet?
And then I want to pass it to Jack real quick because I want a response. But Jack, I saw all this coming, and you know I'm a big frequenter of Camp Cupcake. You know I love Camp Cupcake. You know I'm a big fan of it. But I was watching you guys this whole time I've been adventuring, and I'm like, dude, you guys are fucking around, and you guys are out here goofing around, and Pop, you guys were pushing Pop, and I saw this shit coming. And so I'm just saying, now that we're there, are you willing to change your name? Because I'm ready to do it. I realize my mistake, my error. I shouldn't have transgressed. And I saw Jackie Fox was transgressing against the cult too. And I thought we were sort of peas in a pod for a second, but you might need to check your.
Wow,
too,
so you've
respectfully.
capitulated. You're ready
I think
to go.
I have. I think I flipped. His influence, the cult leader's
The optics are
influence.
high. The optics are high.
I know. dude.
Mesmerizing.
The cult
Hypnotic,
leader's
really.
powers are so strong.
Can't resist it, can you?
Once I get in his
No, it's
presence.
a Talcott, dude. It's his fucking. You know they got a Talcott. Was it Tribe who was the ball jiggler for Talcott to jiggle his balls in the Kingdom of Paul? Last night, I remember they were talking about. They have so many cult members with different jobs. One of them was to jiggle your balls, Talcott. Maybe you're heard about. Maybe you're heard about the ball jiggling, and
I
that
wanna go
was
to
something
Jack,
that he might
we
be
also have
interested.
Yeah,
in.
you're not even fit for that position. You're just town crier.
But that's cult member one, and he did show himself. He has the same mask, but this is getting a little odd for me. Even cult member one. Do you know him? Has he been verified?
Yeah,
at any
cult
level?
member 11 is that's
No,
an official.
one. This is
Where?
cult member one.
Oh yeah, no, that's the
Number one.
one of the wizards of the Grand Slave Council.
Nice. Okay.
Number one.
So he's all right here. I'm feeling better already. The warm
Look at that
waters of this
smile.
cult.
I'm half left and half right.
Oh my god. I didn't even
Lefty
realize.
righty.
Didn't even realize. So what do you think, Jack? Like, how do we get this back on the road? Because I think that Camp Cupcake, that's where things went wrong. We got too friendly out here. I don't know. What do you think?
It got too hug-a-buddy, Jack.
I think it did. That's why I had to do this.
Can I say something about what was said?
Yes, please do.
Here's something I considered. Moose may have looked like Moose was coming down, doing a lot of blocking from the stream tonight. But as I understand it, Snafu's got like 30 fucking personalities. And so he's coming in. I don't know what he was saying, but we had a good energy tonight and we wanted to keep it positive. So it's all just
I asked an
time
honest
out.
question for your well-being, Jack. I was actually caring about you. I said, why are you guys all enabling Jack Talcott? Jack, I feel you're being enabled. I know you don't like this. You would block me off your channel right now. You would have Moose censor me. I feel that you just enjoy being on panels and you get your channel's growing. You have yet to pick up the phone to call the United Nations, show anything of any actions, and everyone's saying, go, Talcott, go. You're doing great. But you haven't done anything. And you would block me. You would censor me. You laugh right now like a crazy-ass cult fucking Talcottism. But the truth is I cared for you, and I said, why are you guys enabling him? I actually got on the phone, called the United Nations, said, do you fuckers know who the great Talcott is? What have they done? And all I get from you is blocking and censorship. What has Paul done for you? And look at what you do to him. Fuck, man. The Talcottism, dude.
And I add in that I believe with Snafu that he actually did care about like you getting hold of the UN, and he has the balls to actually, he's made calls to important people before, and he really does have a care for you in his heart, right, Snafu?
I do. And I just feel a lot of people are encouraging Jack instead of pushing his limits. And I think you're getting used to blocking people and censor him, just like you did to Paul when you started getting bigger, just like you do to me. We all joke around and boot each other, whatever. Not Nazi block, but you guys do. Camp Cupcake Ian did. But what I do feel is, Jack, I was trying to watch out for you, saying, why are you enabling Jack? You don't like my advice. I'm looking out for you. I want you to do action. I want you to quit going on these panels talking the talk. I want you to do action to say, look, motherfuckers, this is what Jack Talcott did. This is what I did. You know, but you always block me, always censor me, or anyone who has opposite views of you and the Talcottisms. And then people who have helped you and created this monster, you've obviously showed your total like care for them. And I just feel tonight Moose ain't here to block me or censor me or Paul or any of us. And yeah, I think Jack Talcott, honestly, all you guys watching are enabling him. Talcott needs real help. And he really fucking should put action into it. And instead of enabling him, help him, guys. Quit fucking around and acting like he's doing something. Help him. And Talcott, you need to accept that maybe I could do something instead of, if you're just about doing the panels, you laugh all crazy. But like, if you're just going on panels and just creating your show and that's all you're about, then that's cool. Say it. But if you really want to do stuff, then right now's the time to do it. Months ago is the time to do it. And I still will help you. But you got me blocked like a Nazi, and yeah, I give you shit. That's because everyone's enabling you. And then you block like a fucking, and what you done to Paul.
Hey, Snafu.
It shows, bro. It shows, dude.
Hello.
Yeah, let him respond here. Go ahead, Jack.
Well, the ignorant ignore, right? So Snafu, you're sitting here presenting the case like you're some victimized little bitch. You're so blocked and so pushed away from me.
That's what I want. I want the uncupcake Talcott.
Snafu, do you or do you not have my cell phone number? Have we or have we not spoken? Have you or have you not received an invitation to join me and to have conversations?
Do I not get blocked? And do I not get censored every time I say you guys are enabling Jack? Or Jack, why aren't you doing anything and putting things into action?
You remember my question? Do you or do you not have my cell phone number in
I just said, yeah, everyone does who wants it. Look, again, I said I'm always blocked, I'm censored, and I am censored and blocked because I'm asking and caring for you, saying, why is everyone enabling Jack Talcott to think he's doing this great, amazing fucking thing? And all you're doing is creating a show with clout. And if you want to actually do something, then do it, Jack. And I'm here to tell the people to quit enabling you.
I agree.
Some people who don't do disrespect. Look how you treated Paul.
You have to put in the number.
I didn't know what I thought it was title or number. We need number two.
No, it's called number, and then whatever number that you were assigned in the packet, and then cult anthropologist, right?
Oh, the number first, then the title.
Yeah, or you can even just do anthropologist because cult member number is sufficient, and then title anthropologist, and then that's
you got to register. You got to register right here. Don't fuck it up.
That up.
Register right.
Fuck it up.
What were we saying about enabling? Was there discussion on a cult? And now I'm not seeing enabling. I'm not seeing that at all.
No, you are seeing enabling, and I'm just going to come clean.
We're enabling the best bit ever.
Yeah. I'm hearing your response to Snafu on what you're going to accomplish. And I think I'm better to get on train Unslavia at this time. I don't mean to offend.
You chose that a while ago. I know. You chose that a while ago.
I know.
You're triggered. We're getting you.
It's not
I give
really
you hoes every time. You're triggered, Jack. You just showed it right there. You're mad that folks resonate with me. You also want to use me and work with me, saying that it's loving because you're narcissistic, and then get triggered when everyone around you always wants to defer to me. The same way you defer to me on panel, but then shit on me everywhere else. Typically,
no, Paul.
Was the pattern? It's changed recently because we've refocused in various ways.
Well,
but that was the pattern, and I have to believe you're still the same person. You've just changed the way you're operating.
You're starting to see me more clearly, but you're
I've been seeing for a while.
Well, no, you've not seen me yet.
He's the cult. He's the cult anthropologist, and you're not going to do anything about it. And Freedom Grower's probably going to become the cult farmer, right? Because someone's got to feed these slaves, and he's growing, and he can.
He had to bait me in with the farmer title. You haven't given that to anybody else yet, Paul?
we don't have a farmer yet, I don't think, officially. So,
Oh, no.
who would I rather have to feed Unslavia than cult member, number, I don't know what his number is from the packet, but one of the best farmers that I know of to feed this slave kingdom. So I don't know. The offer's out there.
Job, of course.
Well, and here's the thing, Jack. This is what I'm trying to get you to see, and I wanted to bring this up, but I was having bad internet, and there was a lot going on. These are sort of the standards we need to reclaim our tribal identity. So I don't know, Jack. Like, I don't know, man. I need to see something of value there, some new standard.
See, Jack's just pissed off that he can't have a title because he doesn't actually work or do anything. So, he's just going to be cult member, whatever number, with no actual title and value and function. And this is back to like what we spoke about. So like we're now recreating being on the land, some kind of kingdom. I know it's cult of Unslavia, but now you need to show your title and your worth. Of course, I don't. I have very little skills and abilities, but I'm, of course, the leader of the cult. I don't need that. But Jack, if he's going to be under and part of the civilization, he's got to figure out what his skill and ability is, like Mr. Freedom Grower and everyone else.
I'm not going to do it, though. I'm going to stand on my own square. So what are the consequences?
The constant blocking for 5 minutes at a time and no validation and verification into the group and on the panel. It's just got to be that way. There's got to be some sacrifice. If we want to continue to just use me and that community and all the great people, slaves of Unslavia, this is just what's going to have to happen. There's too much entitlement. Too many people are unthankful and ungrateful. One, mainly Jack Talcott, and others, various others. So it's 2 weeks. If you can't give, I've given 7 days a week, 8 hours a day, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. This is the best bit ever. If you can't sacrifice for 2 weeks, go fuck yourself. That's how I'm playing this, on some level. I won't hold a grudge, but I'll just see you for who and what you are. And you're not a fun person. How about that? Jack says it's all about fun. And if you're not a fun person, I don't really know if I want you around. And I thought you were fun, Dick. I have fun with Dick usually. Tonight, not so much.
And I could see a couple other unintended consequences here, Dick, where one, you probably won't be invited to future loyalty tests, which I'm sure are going to get more interesting. And second, I don't think you're coming to the orgy.
When did the mind of yours completely change during this live?
I got in the presence. I got in the presence of the cult leader.
Presence. The
charismatic
it was the opposition to me that switched you over.
Let me just be clear. Also, in case you haven't heard,
Brian O'Shea sleeping in your house.
Listen, well, I got it.
Cult that was a bit becomes a cult.
Well, I have to address him too because he messaged me and now he's like on Arizona and wanting to come, I don't know, live with me, have the woman I'm with blow him in front of me. So we have to talk about that, like what he's looking for, because I'm on someone else's land at this time. We're getting our shit together. We have to define terms and conditions. I wouldn't mind meeting Brian O'Shea, but we have to figure out what this is all going to be. Because again, I have to weigh, as Jack will tell you, I have trust issues. I have to weigh the liability on all levels versus the perceived benefits. I love Brian O'Shea, but if I let someone into wherever I am, then everyone else may know where I am.
Weren't you going to lock him in the trunk and blindfold him?
Well, and I want Brian O'Shea to have a chance to respond here, but I'm suddenly my paranoid truther brain is starting to add things up here. And hold on, Jack, I see you smiling, you wily little devil. So you were doing a show on shame, right? Now think about this. You were doing a show on shame last night or the night before, right? And now we see shame in operation. Yeah. Is this an inside job? Is this good cop, bad cop? Is this, am I being hoodwinked here, Jack? Are you roping me in here? Is this the inner sanctum sanctorium? Is Talcottian Paul and Slave?
Right. What it is that it's never ego or anything else Jack talks about when he does it. right? So,
Well,
you know,
have you heard in Freemasonry, like the upper level, like in one of the rituals, they whisper in your ear, "Our God is a dark God." Like, what if in Slavia, at the
Hey,
higher
Jack.
levels, you know, you whisper in the ear, "Jack Talcott is our God."
Jack, Jack,
That
why
would
don't
fuck
you
me
call the
up. Oh,
United
don't fuck
Nations
me up
tomorrow?
like that, dude.
no. Talcott's the one who you see at that Lord of the Rings movie, who's like in the ear of me, right? He's like, he's the Grimer
Wormwood.
Grimer
Like-
Taltongue. So he's in my ear like, Paul Unslaved, we could be big and make money with Tony Robbins and go to the UN, and I could use you. And I'm like, get out of my ear, Grimer Taltongue. Okay, I'm the
And if they
king of
don't like
Unslavia,
you-
and I have a mission here.
Talcott, you laugh, but the people are enabling you. You don't do nothing. You haven't called the
Flip
United Nations.
Flip that. He just said it's so true. Okay. He said the other day, we're getting him one day at a time. He's gonna reveal it all. He said the other day he's a great manipulator. He's doing it all the time. And then today he says it's so true. He is a Grimer Taltongue. So he is an agent of chaos. He's working for the devil, and that's been clear this whole time to anyone watching.
But
At least
no,
you're being
it's
honest.
not the devil. You said the truth. I'm in your ear. I'm telling you, hey, come with us. Let's go make it big with Tony Robbins and the UN. Let's fucking do this.
I don't want to be in the room
And
with
you're
them
like,
people.
no,
That's
I've got
you.
a cult to focus on.
Right. Like, as he does a cult over there, banning everyone constantly who won't conform to his, fleeting whims day to day, basically all consisting of just genuflecting to him at all times on his opinion. It's just laughable. You are the quintessential pseudo-spiritualist, pseudo-guru cult leader who just clamors for validation and attention, name drops and star fucks, and will use anybody to get wherever it is you desire to go. So it's like point for point, narcissist scale. The Yurt fellow asked him, he did a whole symposium on it. You hit every one. Grandiose ideas and sense of self and self-worth, grandiose ideas of what you're going to do with the world that are like literally impossible. Grandiose ideas of how everyone should agree with you at all times, and you'll say it's their opinions and egos while you do ego and opinions. I could just go on and on and on and on. There's so much, and I talk so fast, and I could do 45 minutes on it. It's
Jack, don't
fascinating.
shake your head.
But
dude, you're
but I
you're worse than Ian China now. Do you understand how bad that is? Like your
Well,
moose guy
I
is
know what
off with
you're
everyone's
saying.
head. Like, and even the people that have helped you, you Nazi boot. I seen how you've been when Paul first started going up. You'd like bring him on,
45
and I
minutes in
saw-
the back
I saw what you
last
did with
time
his
at a
dad.
time.
I saw what you did with his dad. That was disgusting. When you acted like you were going to be mediated between Paul and his dad, and you were getting in all their business and shit, and you wouldn't even let Paul fucking talk to his old man. That was disgusting as fuck, dude. You acted like you were
Cut
some
my tongue
counselor.
out, Jack Talcott.
You act like you're some counselor, and you just
metaversally cut out my tongue in front of the world, in front of
Well-
my father. You humiliated me. The only thing one step worse would have been if you gelded me, right? Just cut off my genitals. The levels of humiliation were just, insurmountable. Your thoughts?
How about this? Consider this, okay? Snafu, maybe part of the reason that you've been pushed to the back from my panel is because, well, I feel I started my
I'm
channel because
blocked. I'm not put in the
Hey,
back.
can
I am BLOCKED.
I know. You've got
Not
so
me
much to
off with your head,
complain
thrown in the
about.
lake
Oh
of
my
fire.
God, you're
Fucking
such a
cupcake. I would be ice.
Can you
guys
imagine him
be
with
ice my
Snafu on a
cupcake.
torture rack going, oh, you poor baby. You could just see it. You could see it's Talcott the Terrible. If you flash back in history, if he somehow got a movement going and had his will be done, he'd have everyone on a torture rack going, oh, poor baby, like eating some pastries. And then claiming to be the most loving, spiritual.
Jack, why do you
guru
laugh
out there.
like that, Jack? That's the most disconcerting part is your laugh about it. Have you heard that
He
before?
agrees.
You laugh sort of inappropriately, Jack. I don't know if anyone
It's very appropriate.
I don't know if anyone's ever told you that.
No, dude, I totally get Paul. He's fucking hilarious. I get around Paul and my abs hurt, man. My cheeks are tired after I'm done.
But and I'm not trying to be super serious, but what about this, Jack? Man, I honestly want to hear your response to the general line of questioning, and we didn't forget you, Brian O'Shea, but just
wasn't
this
just
thing,
me.
man,
Yeah,
that you're
he's
not
avoiding
really
the question.
doing anything practical. What about that, dude?
You keep avoiding the questions,
Can y'all
Talcott.
hear
What
me?
about acting like Paul's counselor
Yeah, we
between
can
him
hear
and
you,
his
dude.
dad too? I think you act and talk a lot of talk, but no actions, and the things you've been doing lately are just crazy.
I hear a
Yes,
lot of
Paul finally admitted that he wants us to be cult members. Yeah, we're doing it for 2 weeks, right, Paul? Gonna
So
be the
that means
shortest
Paul
you've
Paul
ever
gets
known.
to sleep with your wife for 2 weeks.
Dude, you
Austin.
look like the Green Lantern, bro.
Hey, I want to
I
be
should
clear.
have
I was
read
already,
the quote here.
I want to be
Not
clear,
wizard.
okay? I want to be clear. I was already doing that. It's just now it's official.
Yeah, why do you think I gave the why do you think I gave
Fair
the
enough.
key to the house, man? That was the whole it's already happened.
Well, I just want to make one comment, guys, and it's particularly to you, Austin.
Yes, sir.
But I want everybody to pay attention once again. If you look up the etymology of comment, it means invention, fabrication, and fiction. You can look it up for yourself. Don't believe me. All you got to do is look it up real quick. And that's written or spoken comments are inventions, fabrications, and fictions. Have fun, because it's all fiction, guys. That's why it's called a metaverse.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're talking about that a little bit earlier. I'd like to talk to you more sometime in that angle, Wizard, because I get a little like I see the point, but like common usage, comment is just like a statement, a short statement, right? That's common usage. So I get why we want to, as a writer, as a lover of words, I get why we want to go to etymology and all that sort of thing. But the actual effect of that truth, I'm not quite sure what that amounts to. But
well,
Jack,
it goes
go
to
ahead.
Can we get back to Talcott and
It
why
goes-
he's avoiding the question?
It goes.
I
It
want to
goes
know,
to
Jack,
action.
you're avoiding these
It
questions.
goes to.
You're avoiding
It goes to actions speak louder than words,
That's true.
and written or spoken words are fiction because they come from your mind, and then you write it down or you speak it. Nobody else gets that reality unless it's in their mind. So it still remains fiction until two come together and make it the actual creation. There's no way that's ever going to happen. Why? What is done is what ought be done. There is nothing new under the sun. And every time you think you're inventing something, it's a fabrication. It's a fiction. Your actions
good
speak
words.
louder. Your actions speak louder than words. And he never told you to invent things. He never told you to fabricate things. He told you the earth provided, even for the smallest. And you're the mightiest. Why do you think he's not providing for you? That's your will. That's your want. That's your greed. That's your gluttony. That's why it's called commercial paper. That's what bonds all of that greed.
Why are you like acting like a little scumbag with your expressions, Talcott? Acting like everything he's saying, like you're so.
Well, and if
Everything
we're
you're
gonna do
doing
that, we
lately
gotta
is
give him a
just
chance
like.
to respond to. Go ahead.
I know.
Let
He
Jack
hasn't
respond.
responded yet. Katie hasn't. Yeah.
what am I allowed to share? I mean, I was asked a bunch and there was a bunch of things said about me, and I showed up with things I wanted to share, but what do you want?
I'm
Need
just
to take
curious.
action?
Okay, hold on, Snafu. Give me a second here because I have the man here. It's my panel. I have the chance to ask him. I personally get like confused by that, like what I consider some of the word salad stuff. And I'm finding your good intentions endearing, but there's just like there's some behaviors and certain things that I see that give me pause. And that's the joke about, that you made earlier about you sort of pushing me to Paul or whatever. I know that's a joke, but it is sort of that element. There is a problem here of trust. And just for example, Jack, and I'll give you, and then I'm gonna pass it right to you and go because you have been cut off and things are being said. But it's just like sometimes there's questions, man. Like I asked you the other night about forgiveness. And I said, can you give an example from your personal life of when you forgave someone? I was asking that genuinely to you, and then I don't hear you flush out the details. So it's that same problem with like, what are you actually trying to attempt in this thing? And if you want to say nothing, I'm just having conversations. That's great. That's
it. Okay. I'm
No, go
sorry.
ahead.
Forget my interruption, please.
No,
I'm sorry.
No, you go
You were
right
on a
ahead.
roll. You could have gone another 20 minutes.
Oh, I could go days on you, Jack. But you go right ahead.
I know. Everyone can.
Yeah, there's a lot of content.
Well, let's start with where you started, where I was raising my finger trying to say, hey, let's connect some dots here, right? So you started off with the, again, accusation of your interpretation, your observation of me spewing word salad, right? I'm curious what you just heard of, I think it was Wizard. Did that make all sense? Did you see relevance to how you took on that fucking train of word salad?
His explanation, Jack, started to have more relevance, but that seemed a little word salad to me at the beginning. That's why I made the comment that I made.
Jack, you're getting very angry, Jack. You're getting very angry and hateful.
No,
he doesn't have Moose the Nazi block. You don't have Moose the dictator blocking here.
Can I say anything? Fuck, oh dear. I mean, I say one thing, we get interrupted, defeated, conversations jump around. Fuck, oh dear. I'm not getting angry. I'm very patient. I'm very kind. I'm very forgiving. I'm very loving. I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Until you're not.
Well, I'm surrounded by good people who are clearly in denial.
What are we denying again? Thank you, Snafu. Just feel free to just every piece of silence dominate.
Well, this type of behavior, the behavior of people like Snafu, is completely enabled. He and Wizard are allowed to go on and on and on and on and on without interruption, but I get out fucking 5 seconds usually. Thank you, by the way. Every day is new, and I'm always hopeful, and I am persistent, and I am loving.
That transition. I love when he goes, "Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to be a guru and a spiritualist. Let me show love here for everybody else's, purposes."
Well,
you totally switched it.
Thank you.
We're all learning and growing together, but if the reason I've been pushing people away is because I do feel like there's value in the words I have to offer. And people don't really talk to me about the words I say, other than their opinions of what they think of what I say. Like word salad. If you gave me a specific opportunity or a point, and actually you did, you brought up a past, you questioned me about forgiveness, and I may have started answering, failed to flourish the details, and been interrupted.
Right.
Conversation deflected. And
hey, can we do that right now? Since you said, like, if we ask questions, could you give us an example of responsibility and accountability you're taking right now in your life?
Everything. I mean, I accept.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No. Okay. No. That's what I was going to say. Like, I was going to say pretty much everything, and I just want to make sure we were all checking out there.
Just for the record,
enabling you, Jack. You haven't done shit. You haven't even picked up the phone for the United Nations.
Hold on.
Just for the record,
what have you done on the Grand Panel?
Jiminy fucking Christmas. Snafu.
Go ahead, Dick. And hold on.
Fucking train running. My punchline wouldn't even be funny now if I tried. No, it's over. I picked the gum. I threw a gum wrapper down. I picked it up. Let's keep moving. It's fun.
Yeah, it is hard, Jack, to flush a point out. We all recognize that. I understand that. But sometimes it's like you're set up, Jack, for the home run on your channel. You got Moose there, everything. You're taking this time. And then I'm like listening to you. And I'm like, okay, let's hear that thing of forgiveness. I forgive so-and-so. They were a friend, yada, yada, yada. The personal meat and potatoes story of you. And there's just been several times I asked that. You don't, I don't hear it.
I could give a huge list. I mean, My stepfather used to beat me when I was a kid. I held a lot of hate, learned to forgive him. My mother was a crazy woman, wonderful woman, should have never had kids, but she did. And I forgave her. I love her. My ex-wife turned my one and only son against me, right? I've got every fucking reason in the world to hate that woman, but I love her. I'm grateful for her. My son, I forgave him for whatever he chose to believe about me. My friends, I've forgiven the people who misrepresented me.
What did he believe about you, Jack? What did your son believe about you that made him
I don't know. I'd love to ask him what is true, but unfortunately, my numbers are blocked. And so let's get back to the, if I may.
You said you know
Right,
that you believe something about you. So you obviously know he thought something of you. What did he think of you to separate him? So you're
Thank
making
you. He already
excuses.
answered the question. Could you stop repeating and looping and cycling and read the room? So
thank you.
Talcott, right? So we're back to accountability, responsibility. Is there maybe possibly a reason or common denominator why you have the same effects with everyone in your life close to you?
Yeah. It's the reason that everyone seems to deny, and that's my relationship with God.
Right, that's what an insane person says, is that because you are
okay,
the only one who knows
but
God,
Paul,
everyone else is rebuking you and the true God.
Paul,
Right?
and this
And
is
then
where
have no evidence to show for that. See, it's a slippery slope between genius and insanity. I might make the same claim. I might make the same claim, but you have to show something.
Well,
you can't say that and then show here nothing but insanity and inability to communicate.
I'm accused of insanity and interrupted when I try to speak.
No, you say you're going to go meet all these famous people to change the world and end legal
Let's
secrets.
bring us back
That's
to right
insanity.
now. Let's bring us back to right now in the conversation.
That's what someone would say who's rubbing their feces on the wall at Creedmoor. They'd say, I went to Congress to meet the guy from Shark Tank and Xi Jinping to end legal secrets. And they'd say, put him in a straitjacket. Okay? So
Can we get out of your imagination and back to today, right now? Can we come back to
done
now?
by folks you can't communicate with because you can't communicate with your own damn friends and family and self properly.
So I will say for the record, I have seen progress in Jack, in particular with regards to conflict and confrontation. He does seem to hold his own better, stand on his own 2 feet, and deal with that. I also have seen him start a broadcast and do panels, which before he wasn't doing really anything. So at least now he's creating a open environment where he can communicate with people. Now, that's not to say, Jack, that I'm a huge fan of you or that I think that you're accomplishing great things. I just want to be honest in that I do see how, like, if you're moving that direction, you're making progress, and eventually maybe you'll make those calls and turn it into something. I hope for your
I think he's getting power hungry for blocking, dude. Of course he's getting better. He's
make all
blocking
sorts of stupid
essentially.
shit, dummy.
If they don't agree with
Snafu.
Talcottism, you fucking you cut off with their heads. Doesn't know with the ovens. Just even Paul was like, "Hey, get rid of snacks." Like, fuck this censorship bullshit. You guys are all promoting this bullshit censorship. Talcottism has made it.
You don't get it, Snafu. You don't get it, Snafu. You don't get it, Snafu. You're a lesser iteration. Could you shut him up? You're a lesser iteration. You're a lesser iteration of Talcott and his ism.
Yeah.
You just
I
all
see
don't
what I
see.
see. I see what I
Shut
see.
the
I see
fuck up,
who
please. You're
interrupted you. I
horrible
see
on
what's going
air
on.
constantly. You're
I
horrible
see.
on air, and you're the only one who doesn't know
I
it.
see exactly what I see, Paul. And I see a lot of
You see
optics that are
exactly
high.
what the fuck. You see exactly what you want to see is your problem. Just like Talcott, as he thumbs up, you all see exactly what
Paul,
the fuck
you
you
enable
want to see.
Talcott way
You
more
got
than
him
ever.
up for his own
You
good,
enable
maybe.
Talcott
He
just as
doesn't
much,
know when to
Paul.
talk and not talk.
You
He doesn't
enable
know when to
Talcott
talk
just as
and
much.
not talk. Doesn't know that he
Seth,
has no value, little to no value. He doesn't know that he comes every fucking day, all day with the same 5 lines.
Well, and I want.
Can I make one point real
And
quick?
little to nothing to show. Go ahead, Mr. Freedom Grower.
So Bad Barney is saying, no, that, Jack is not showing progress, that everywhere he goes, he blocks anyone that has a different view. Actually, people said things along those lines to when I was in Paul's panels and things like that, is that you couldn't communicate with him, or if you had a different view, that he would just mock you or, shoot you down. And I would always say, well, I don't experience that. It's all in your presentation. It's all how you communicate and your level of ability to articulate something. And I would say on Jack's, it's I've said the whole time I don't agree with him on essentially anything. We have an amicable relationship, but I choose to make it that way because I actually want to be able to have. Well, no, you're right. Actually, it's not true. We don't disagree on everything, but fundamentally, when it comes to like what you're trying to accomplish through this whole process, we disagree.
We just bite into this point, Jack. Just let me add one little cherry on top. I'll come right to you, dude. But we is that funny, Jack?
Well, it kind of is. We'll see if it comes true.
No.
Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt. Sorry to react.
You're all right. It happens a lot. I've gotten used to it at this point. So we were drilling into the point. What's the difference between you and the dude on the street corner who says he's about to go meet Klaus Schwab? That's what I'm interested in. What's the difference between you and that gentleman?
Fair question.
Really, what is the difference?
Talcott has a home. Nobody knows how he's paying for in a set of clothes.
I don't know.
Yeah, he has a sign too, like the guy on the corner. This is exactly the point, man. You just did what the guy on the corner does. Hold up a sign in crayon that
Can
says
we
what
come
is
back
real.
to now?
You're
Can we get out of the fucking looping imagination?
You're an person. By definition, by all presentment, by all appearances, by all lack of comprehension, by all lack of communication, by all lack of connection. You're the only one in the room who doesn't know it, and you refuse to take any commentary from anyone, including your loved ones. You are depersonalized from reality. You can point all day, childlike person who claims to be Christed. You're a fool.
Am I?
Yes, you're a fool.
Okay.
You've shown that many times in many ways. The fact that you have the balls to continue to sit here and act like you're going to be taken as serious and credible shows you're more of a fool. I willingly play the fool. You play the fool unwillingly. There's a difference.
I know
Stop
when not
pointing
to.
at me. Point when you point. There's three pointing back at me. You don't remember that saying?
I know when to be serious and I know when to play. I know when to speak and I know when to shut the fuck up, Paul.
Right.
And that's
Clearly
something
you
you
don't,
might
because
want
you have
to
no
learn.
women in your life. I have women in my life, multiples of them who tell the same story. I have multiples on here who tell the same story. You have none of that. You want to go down the list of abilities,
your fucking comparisons are irrelevant.
Appearances, presentments. What do you want to go to establish any kind of true value other than your feelers like a hoe?
You know what? You can narrate your fucking reality all you want. I know who the fuck I am. I know what I'm doing. I know what I've done.
So you can't keep a marriage. I'm now doing marriage counseling with folks based
on I've seen your bullshit counseling.
No.
You don't fucking understand. You don't care. You don't understand love. You're a fucking confused man.
Jack Talcott, you're again confusing a metaversal presentment which takes on different forms, and there's an understanding there.
I know the difference.
Jack Slavecott, you can't even figure out what's real or not, like on the metaverse and off. I'm talking about folks I work with.
Look who I'm surrounded with. Right. You guys are in denial, enabling. You're enabling confusion.
You surround yourself with folks who you pretend are inferior, who are superior to you in many ways.
Paul, that's you, dude.
No. As a matter of fact, I'm a big fish in a small pond usually. I can't get folks who say
you're not as big as you think. You're fucking small. You're not doing shit. You're just talking about it.
Get the competent professionals who say they are that before me. So I'm a big fish in a little pond.
Oh my God. Whatever. You'll be as big as you think you are. You're
it's not about that, Talcott. It's self-evident.
You don't give a shit about the truth.
Hold on. I told the one coming. Can we give Jack one?
How ridiculous you are. I become a meme because of who I am, how I live, and what I do. and the fact that I make fun of myself like the white gorilla. You don't do that. You don't make fun of yourself. You post pictures of Jesus next to you, and we're supposed to take it seriously.
Oh, piss off. Piss
I put
off
myself on
false
Jesus picture as a cartoon,
accusation.
and you said I
such
was
a
a cult leader.
fucking liar. You're
See the
such a
difference?
hypocrite,
See the
Paul.
projection and
What
the
the fuck are
hypocrisy?
you doing, dude?
What am I doing? I'm like outing you once again, and you hate
No,
it.
you're making yourself
And the
look.
demons
Hey,
coming
you're
out of you.
revealing you. You're
Right.
revealing you.
No, I'm not. I'm doing what I always do with everyone. What I did
I
with Zach.
know you don't know the difference. You don't know the difference
Jack,
between the character and the self.
Can
You're
I interject
fucking
real quick? I
confused.
got a question.
Right.
What say you about this cult, Jack? Would you, someone that's considering joining, would you caution? You think it's just an innocent bit? Where do you stand on this whole thing? I want your wisdom and expertise.
Everyone is on their own journey, but here's what I've said. Paul is presenting wisdom, but with the wrong energy. In my opinion, I see it as a lot of negativity and darkness, reinforcing
Because you're a
anger
punk-ass
and
bitch and
hate.
you don't live your information. You
answer the
quote the
Right,
Dow. You quote the Dow, but you don't live
right.
it. You quote
See,
the Dow, but you don't live it.
no, that is you.
That's me. The Dow is deep and dark, but it's also radiant. Don't say I'm dark and deep, but
You
not also
don't.
radiant.
You deny the light with your fucking abuse.
Overly positive, lead with love.
Bullshit.
Love bombing slave. Cult leader
Bullshit.
wannabe.
You deny the light. You disgrace the light. You disrespect the light.
Folks do it
Jack and Paul,
voluntarily.
stop for 1
You
second.
beg for shit to
Stop for
happen,
1
and no
second.
one listens. But you're a
Jack,
wannabe
you just
cult
said you're
leader.
a dude.
It's
Stop 1
fascinating.
second.
It's
So
fascinating.
check this out, Jack. So if we go to Paul and we go, hey, Paul, what's the difference between you and the guy on the street who's going to talk to Klaus Schwab? Paul can say,
He
here
holds
are these
up a
couple.
sign that says "Not what is real" in crayon on cardboard.
And
Paul
then
can
there
say,
was
here's-
no care
Right.
for my explanation.
I
So,
want to hear it. That's why
yeah.
I'm trying to rework it back. to
Right.
you.
So give Lou Paul doesn't give a shit about anyone but himself. He doesn't care about ending wars.
Hey Lou.
He doesn't care about talking to those who have actually achieved fucking
I don't think
recognition.
you're going to get an answer to the
Hey Lou
question.
Jack, you're so like
Yeah,
in your
ask
own
ask
self.
Paul the question.
Right, you're so like caught
He
up
has
in your
an
own
answer,
self
though, and I've heard
bullshitting
his
that you
answer.
don't even
That's the
know who's
difference.
up here. You think
That's the
Lou's up here because you got like 10 people telling you the same story, and your story is it's always there sucking my dick and bootlicking, right? It's not that you're insane. So you're like confusing me with Lou, and you don't know who's here right now or what is real. All you know is that you're like on the defense because you're being shown to be false again, and you can't throw anyone out right now. So you're like really
look,
you're,
blah 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 blah.
there
Just
it is,
because
the
you
trigger.
speak
There's
it
the
doesn't.
trigger. Demon, come on out like you do that one time. A few
Dude,
times.
what is your
Yell at
point?
me.
I
Tell God,
wait.
yell at me, fuck you, and then say Jesus' name after because you're a demon.
Hey Paul.
Go ahead and say fuck
Hey,
you, let
Paul.
the demon out, and then
Right.
say
Should I just keep letting you create lies and
no,
disrespect?
because I have disdain for folks.
Well,
like
I
you
sit
who come on the
patiently
metaverse,
waiting
lead
and you
with
don't
love,
shut
and
up.
want to put everyone
Blah,
in
blah, blah.
bondage at the end of the day. Right? Want everyone to be like you. That's what a demon does. Comes in with
That's
false
you,
hope.
dumbass.
No.
Holy shit.
I give
Is
everyone the
anyone
whole
else
story.
witnessing? Am
I
I
give
wrong?
everyone the
Is
whole
he not
story, and when
describing
everyone's coming
himself?
out, I never
I've lost it,
manipulate.
gentlemen.
I never try to
I don't
seek
know what's
benefits
going on.
and privileges.
What in the fuck?
Right
See, you
now.
guys are
Focusing on
crazy.
Austin's question, you know, I mean, because he didn't really get an answer on that.
I know.
And then I didn't get an answer on mine.
You have an answer.
And so it's everybody
I want
gets.
to exercise
So
Jack's
what
demon
do
again
you
tonight.
want? What
Exercise
do
that
you
demon, boy. Get
want?
it out. Come on out of there, demon. I know you're still in there. You come out before. Come on out and play.
Right.
Calling
You,
everyone a little bitch now. When did you start talking like that, Love Tot?
you
When you saw
tried.
Daddy talking like that, you started
You
being like
love
Daddy in every
drawing
way, like they
the
all do.
demons. You
Because you
love
got the
drawing
spirit
the
of your mama.
demons.
See, when a
Because the
woman come around
demons
you, they
make
start
you
acting
feel
just like you.
better.
Powerful enough. They
Right.
start talking like you.
You've learned how to manipulate and gaslight like a fucking pro.
They'll
And you
change
so
their whole
well,
personality up.
you got smart people willing to become cult members just in defiance of what I would do.
So there you go.
Yeah, I'm
You
so
are the
twisted
master
up, you guys. We're gonna have to
manipulator
call
too,
this. I'm just
likewise,
twisted
right,
up.
Dak? I mean,
I'm
you are
sorry,
the
Dick.
you are the master manipulator, right? Aren't you the self-professed manipulator?
Hey, Dick, I don't deny who I am. I know I am just like him. I'm just like you.
There you go.
No,
Just
you're
like
projecting. You're projecting.
are
You're
you
nothing like these
mad?
folks.
Are
You're
you
nothing
mad
like
that you're
these
so
folks.
the cult of
Talk to
The
Dick.
difference is that I lead with love, and love is what brings forward the truth that I
No, you're a demon.
offer.
No, that's what the demon does. It love bombs you and gets you in that, just like an alien, man.
The
You ever listen
demon
to the
love
alien
bombs.
abduction stories?
See,
The
your
alien
logic
comes
is
to 'em,
illogical.
it puts endorphins on them, and then it says, "Gotcha, bitch." Now I'm probing your ass. And Talcott said many times he wants to probe and merge and everything
No,
else. I
not
think you're
true.
a fucking alien. Okay? I think
I
you're
might
an
be.
alien. Here
I
from
might be
another
an
dimension
alien.
of the planet. You've
He
been
might be.
avatared. You've
I've been
taken over Jack
observing
Talcott's
humans.
body and you're fucking avataring him. You're an
Paul, you're
interdimensional
partially,
alien
you
demon,
might be
and
right.
you're trying to use your
God damn it.
tactics that were used on you. You're not going to suck our soul and body snatch. You're not going to
Nope.
do it with me around.
Nope.
Okay?
I agree.
So don't
I
start
agree.
going into your love rap to get everyone's
Okay.
endorphins going so you can fucking snatch their soul. It's not
It's not
happening.
that.
Get
No.
behind
Love,
me, Shaitan, you little devil.
Paul, the soul is love. I'm trying to introduce you all to love so you can
You don't
embrace
know
your
true
own
love. That's
soul.
why your women and children run from you to people like me. I don't yell like this when I'm off the metaverse. Quite the opposite. You do the
Paul.
yelling behind closed doors, and then they come tell me about it. And then we have a
Right.
conversation.
Right.
So I know the narcissist. I know it's games.
Right.
You can't even hold it here together.
Paul,
You can't
this
even
is
hold it here together.
different.
Then I got to pipe up to get you in line.
Well,
There's the
no.
reason all you women and children run
No.
from you. And I had a baby on my lap today, okay, that was holding on to me. And they go, we can't believe the feeling and energy in the room, right? How the baby just quiets down and gets restful, right? And gets the light in its eyes again, right? You don't have that. You don't have that with anyone in your life, and there's a reason, because you're the dark entity and you keep projecting it onto me. Come live one day in my life.
What's your
Hey,
what's your solution? Shut up! Fuck oh dear, dude.
You slave.
Blah
And
blah
you're
blah
looking
blah
for
blah blah
life.
blah blah.
How dare you start a broadcast, tell people to subscribe, tell them to go to your websites, and you're a life coach. What, a coach of how to fuck everyone's life up like yours and be left with nobody and
Paul,
nothing?
that's what you're doing,
How dare
dumbass.
you,
Hey,
slave.
dumbass, that's
Come on out
you.
of there, demon. Come on
Fuck
out.
oh dear.
Yeah, see, when I call it out, you lean
Hey,
back and
Paul.
come
Hey,
on out.
Paul.
Bring
Why
it
don't you search for the love instead of the demons? You're fucking dark.
Don't
you
tell me
see?
about balance. You want to
Your
talk balance?
logic is illogical. You're out of
You know
balance.
the dark parts of yourself, fake
You're
ass
wrong.
motherfucker. I've looked at
You're
it all.
wrong.
I
You're
faced
wrong.
death. I looked death
Woo!
daily.
Woo!
There
Yeah,
you go.
get out of your head. You're right here. We're all here, dumbass.
Come on out,
We're all here now.
I heard
Get out of your head.
I heard it. Ooh, like a goblin. I heard
Right.
it.
You're whining again. It's like, oh, poor Polly.
Come on out.
This is what happens. This is what happens, Dick, when we do too much Camp Cupcake. We fucked it up. We didn't even get to Brian O'Shea.
This is exactly what an exorcism would have looked like back in the day, and they wouldn't know what was going on. It's you just contorting and twisting and howling and acting like a little hoe half the time, and the men are around like, what's he doing? He's got the spirit of his mama. Stand back, boys. I got to get it up out of him. He's going to put it on the whole town and take over. You're a fucking super villain if you weren't so bad at what you do. If you weren't such a bad manipulator and I wasn't here to call you out and folks like me, you'd have the whole town working for you while you do nothing and collect government funds.
Whoa, time out.
There's no timeout in this game.
Right, I know. You never fucking stop. You never stop. You can't allow anything to come out. No, no, it's got to be Paul's way. It's got to be Paul's way. Fucking clown, dude. Blah, 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 blah. You don't give a shit when you're wrong, do you? Hey, look at the facts.
You got a Jezebel harlot.
Oh, my God.
You got
Blah, blah, blah.
How many you got?
Clueless, dude.
What do we do? What do we do here, John?
Let's talk facts. Let's talk facts. Can we talk facts instead of this bullshit imagined nonsense?
Show
Here's
yourself
the fact.
Show yourself and what you're about.
Holy fuck.
Show yourself and what you're about. Defalcating, defrauding, deceiver. Show it.
You speak the words that are within you. So the facts are what you were describing is that I'm the one who's out here manipulating, trying to do all this shit that you're obviously doing. But here's the facts. I don't want to get into that debate. I am pursuing, well, I'm talking about God and love, ending wars,
Yeah, you're
helping
talking
in.
about all
Can
that,
you
but you ain't
shut
living
up?
it.
Can you shut up? Can you shut up? Can you shut up?
You shut up. How dare you? Get in position.
Oh, dear.
Get behind me, Shaitan. The devil comes talking all that shit and not showing nothing and living it. Yeah, come on up out of there.
Whoa.
How dare you call anyone a bitch?
Hey, you want to, yep, you want to keep disrespecting.
Same way I'll take up for you the
You
other day when
want to
that
keep
guy threatened you. I'll get right in
disrespecting,
your face
see
like
the
this.
disrespect you bring.
You'll get in my face, right?
In the vortex.
Yeah. I'll stand right here like this and you'll come close to me and get in my face. No, you won't.
Yeah,
No,
you're
you
the
won't.
darkness. You reject the light.
So, and I got to wrap this up, guys. We're cooking, and I hate to do it. I actually want you both to answer. Hold on. I want to end on a positive note, Jack, and we'll even go to Jack first. And I'm interested in your answer, though, too, Paul. So, like many commentators have noted, and I've noted too, this is repetitive, right? So, what are you both? No, don't point at him, Jack, because you engage in the repetition. So, the question. Jack, you scoff like a fool right now.
Right, I'm the topic of his fucking loop.
You engage in it every day. You can get mad at me
Sorry
if you
for
want
the
to.
interruption. Go ahead. Sorry for the interruption.
It's all right. I don't mind. We're all friends here, and we're doing it.
Are we?
Yeah,
Really?
Metaversal friends.
Really? All right.
This is perfect setup to my question, and we'll go to Jack first because he's excited to speak, and I appreciate that. Why, if you've been looping and you're tired of the loop, what are you continuing to get out of your interaction with Paul enslaved and unslave you? What's the point of this for you? Do you see it at this point? And good to see you, Verily here. It's good to. She's been on the channel before, Monumentus broadcast. I was sleeping like a little baby when she graced me, but thank you for joining tonight. It's good to see you. But what's the answer to that, Jack? What's the continued value here? If you're both calling each other demonic and all that, what's the point of continuing this? And go ahead, Jack, if you can, if we can.
Sorry, my audio was off. How are we doing?
We're doing okay. It's eternal. It's an eternal now at this point. Verily, we're all here together and sharing our time. So I think I hope there's some value here and some higher resolution. Go ahead, Jack.
Greetings, Miss Verily. Pardon the other male chimpanzees.
What I receive from the interactions is what is offered, and it's usually insults, disrespect, disagreements, and interruptions. But tonight, what keeps bringing me back was, tonight I thought it was a new day. I saw there was new conversations being had. This was a new venue, a new opportunity. I keep holding hope. I keep holding hope for Paul and I.
I thought you said you live the information like the Tao. The Tao says hope is as hollow as fear. Why would you be holding out hope?
Right. You do everything you can.
You have to live without hope. You don't live the information. I'll quote every line of it as you speak to rebuke you. And I'll do it from 5 different texts. Which one do you want?
Okay, so we're back to this is evidence of what I receive, what's offered, but I had, well, diminishing faith because Paul and I seem to resonate and connect, and we have great conversations, and I think we share some fun times together at times.
Which is
But
only
then-
proof that I can
but then
only proof that I can be impartial and objective. But in this moment right now, we're being subjective. I'm focusing on you. You're the subject, and you're
you're ignoring your behavior again. You're ignoring your part in the looping problems. Your ignorance is a fucking hindrance, and it's hidden behind your arrogance.
Are you mad?
Are
you mad about all the truth that keeps coming out?
I was trying to repeat a point. I was trying to get to the point that sometimes Paul and I resonate, only for me to walk away and hear him doing exactly what he complains about others. Fucking stabbing me in the back, slandering my name, putting me down. Bullshit. You are untrustworthy until you change your behavior, Paul.
I'm very trustworthy because I stab
Not
you in
my
the front.
experience.
I stab you in the front.
Hey,
Look you in
thank
the
you,
eye.
Austin. God bless. I'll let Paul answer. We're uninterrupted. You are such a disrespectful pig, man.
You're not
I don't
over,
think
so
we're
you
getting
ran.
anywhere.
You ran.
I don't think we're getting anywhere now. Here's Joe Cool. I'm going to wrap this up in 10 minutes. Welcome, Joe Cool. You found your way back here after much time and journeying. We're all together
I wasn't
again.
even subbed to you. What the fuck happened, bro?
I don't know, dude. We lost our frequency.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know.
I only heard about a minute or two. I heard Jack, Nam, and Paul arguing, but if you're wrapping up in 10 minutes, I won't have shit to add. I'll try and be quiet.
Cool, Joe Cool. And we'll have to do it again, man. But Paul, what's your answer? Why do you keep engaging Jack, man?
Where do you want to start? I mean, ultimately, I love Jack Talcott. I'd like to see him progress. I see him progress in some areas, only to fold back in on himself and regress, clutching for power, clutching for fame, clutching for validation from numbers, all while it's being there the whole time with me from the beginning, knowing that if you're living in the truth, life, and way, you're not going to get to that the way you're doing it. And if you do, they're going to interfere with you. So you got to be living it first and foremost. When I see what the root of the motivation is, I know you're corrupt. You claim to be Christian and spiritual. It's false. And I'm going to mitigate, I'm going to force a change in him if I'm able. I'm going to continue to love him, like he said, from time to time and show him that I can be impartial and just kick it back and forth. That has nothing to do with who and what we are on a level of respect. And he, much like my father, craves respect, but he doesn't want to do and be what he needs to command that. So that's a him problem. I don't have that problem in my life nowadays. So, again, there's many layers to this. And like I was going to say, I'm going to mitigate any kind of negative effect that's going to come along from them buying subscribers and little old ladies sitting around loving Jack Talcott and being deceived by him. It's that simple, right? I have a right to show up at any public venue and to speak my mind on somebody's character and be a character witness and bear witness and testimony of what I've observed about the being over and over again with little to no change. How could you change when you've been on here all day, every day? And when you come on here, you have the same insane loops. You never went off with yourself. I wasn't on here. This wasn't my thing. I didn't know where any of this was going to go. I was a student of life first. He's not. He's barely a student of these ancient texts, and he's trying to remix it and act like he's living it. It's a fucking joke.
It's entitlement.
Well, yeah, and I just don't know how you become the worst person in the world pointing that out to him or even asking the question. And I know he'll say you weren't giving him an opportunity to respond, but he has that tendency to just sort of start looping in his answer. That's not really addressing the question.
It's very simple, Yurt fellow. The same reason he came to me is the same reason he'll rebuke me the most, because he knows I'm the most competent being he's met to articulate truth in a way he wishes he could. When I start to articulate truth in a way he wishes he could about him, he rebukes me. The same way he came to me to use me, just like Zach Hubbard, is the same reason that they'll rebuke me when I don't love them the way that they desire. See, desire leads to suffering. That should be one of his principal understandings. So his desires lead to his suffering every time, and his detachment from all the things he can't hold on to, and then a depersonalization because he can't cope with it.
I love it, bro. It's a good shit.
And that's what's a little ugly at some level about what Moose is doing.
But this is my point, is that I could sit here, kick it back and forth, play along sometimes, but then I get in these certain moods where I go, are we all like going to do this? Because you're all using each other. You all like want to be used. Nobody gives a fuck about truth, rights, freedom, principles. You ain't going to live it. You with a bunch of goofy bitches who hate you and don't respect you or ran off with the children already. Get it together. Like, you look at me from top to bottom, from metaverse in my life right now, I'm the closest thing to God-like to these motherfuckers. Right? And that's an uncomfortable thing to say, right? It's an uncomfortable thing to say, because if I went, that's how I would look at me now. If I went to past me and said, you're going to be the white gorilla one day with all these lists of achievements, accomplishments, growth, learning, results in your life with women and children, I go, you're insane. So I get it. Why do I keep showing up? Because I must have been just like Jack Talcott on some level. Yeah. Because if you'd have came to me, right, and said, here's what's out there, right? Jack Talcott thinks it's out there, so that might be a good thing because he has so much hope. I was hopeless. Yeah. Right? I'm not doing an ego presentment, right? I don't think that Christed consciousness or the Christed being popped out of the womb anything special. I think it was a long, hard road of chosen suffering till you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and then you're out. Great. Right? And that's exactly what the journey was. And it's the same journey for him. Self-chosen suffering till he's sick and tired of being sick and tired. He hadn't fallen low enough yet, apparently. Hadn't hit rock bottom yet. Hasn't checked his fucking ego, really, yet. Yes.
And it's not to be super paranoid or, suspicious of Jack Talcott's intentions, but he doesn't account for his life story in a way that touches me in like a, powerful, intuitive, truth way. That was the point I was trying to make. Not just that you're not answering the questions, that it doesn't hit the same. It doesn't feel authentic coming from Jack a lot of the time. And that's why people are suspicious of him. And when you try to really dial into that and ask an actual question,
he
doesn't go
rages. He rages and deflects and shit.
Yeah, it deflects and says that you're projecting when he's in fact projecting. It's annoying and aggravating.
And notice he was using the words we were using earlier. Like, I was like, you got your enabling. He started calling enabling. And of course he was pointing to Paul, saying that's you. Like, yeah, I mean, and the truth is I ain't even hating on Jack. Like Paul said, I'm trying to say, Jack, actions are big, and you could do something, but you're modding, you're blocking, you're deflecting, like they're saying, but most of all, you're getting triggered and hateful. You're being like hateful. You're like, fuck everyone but me.
These are the baby boomer bliss ninnies who never took any true accountability or responsibility, who birthed a whole generation of motherfuckers like me, who get up and walk out on your ass because I'm tired of playing your narcissistic games. And I'm leading a whole generation of motherfuckers just like me who rebuke their own, as the scripture says. That's why it seems so much like a cult. The Christed being was doing the same thing. Getting a whole generation of folks and other generations to rebuke their fucking mother and father who were evil, rebuke their old ways, repent and reform, offer them the same opportunity, which they never take, and then move forward. Okay, so you created me, Jack Talcott, and I guarantee you create another iteration of someone like me with your own son. And you'll never take accountability and responsibility, just like my father has shown here many times. And you want to just, everything's going to be okay. Love is all you need. We're all special. That fucking Common Core education didn't start with the millennials. You've been getting mind and heart control for a long time. They hit you with that countercultural shit, the LSD, the rock music, and they fucked you all up. Okay? So let's just get real with ourselves and each other. Love is not all you need, because you have to be love able. And to be love able, you got to be trustworthy, respect able, accountable, response able. Should I go on? You ain't none of those things. I am those things. That's why I am love able, and motherfuckers love me even if they don't like me.
We all come here
to respect me.
The respect part is big, right? Jack has the love, not the respect. Yeah.
You know why, bro? Because it comes down to one thing. How could you ever really love something or know that it's love back if it's not going to stand for something? Could you say you really love your daddy and he really loves you if he's not going to die today for something true and right? No. So they see in me what they don't see in their own fucking daddy. I'm at least willing to stand for something for myself. It's not even about you. We got to love this motherfucker. He might be one of the best things we got, better than our own daddy.
Yeah.
And I just want to add too, you know, this comment from Jack, like I start feeling like I don't want to pile on Jack and let that dude live and do what he's trying to do. And then it's comments like this where I'm like, fuck it. No, he really is a problem. Right.
Break
Because
down the comment, break it down.
your insecurities are the result of your past dishonesty. And it's like, no, Jack, my insecurities are the result of having the boomer parent version, and not even boomer, that's not even really the right thing. But my insecurities come from people like yourself, Jack, and how you behave. That's where they come from. It's not my dishonesty. That's blaming the victim, essentially.
Right. I was just gonna say, this is narcissist. Like, pull up the list because Talcott's the one we need to do a fucking symposium on. He's the perfect subject. He hits everything. He'll sit there with his wife and child and go, he'll sit there with his whole family and a room full of people, all of us, and go, everyone's insecurities here result of their past dishonesty. No, your present dishonesty is leading to us being insecure with your word because you won't stand on it, so we don't trust you because you don't have humility to facts, right? And you're in denial. So, like, it's projection 101 with Talcott all day, every day.
Well, it's projection paramount to stolen valor, false valor.
Oh, who said that?
That's false honor, false glory. The word of God and speaking babble. I'm no one special, but I hope to bring you the message that you're just as special as I am.
He says a lot of blasphemous things to those who have read the scripture. But here's what's funny too is Jack Talcott, you say that, but I hear the Me Too victimhood stuff, just like the Jesse guy on your show today, talking and saying, oh, we just all need to get along. We all need to hug a buddy, fuck a buddy. You couldn't even take criticism, but you weren't blocked. You weren't Nazi blocked. You ran away. But you guys think like if criticism happens, you guys block.
You know what the sad thing is that all these men, a lot of times at one point or another, if you check up on them, have some woman sitting next to them who want to love them and may love them, but not going to be in love with them for long because they're not truly love able. You can't love a man as a woman or a child who doesn't stand for something, only but so long before you lose respect. These women don't respect you, and you don't respect yourself in the truth. If you did, one would follow after the other. So just keep getting on there. I'm not going to be so direct, but you know it if you know what I'm saying. These are the same women who, by the way, I notice when you're not around are watching and listening to me. Okay. And I don't find that to be a coincidence because they want a little bit more of that in you, but you just want to stick with the cupcaking, as the boy down there says. I love you. I love you. I love all their
If
fucking.
we could all just come together and there'd be peace.
Come
we could just
together,
have unity.
Right. And then I'll actually talk about
still has
that
it
shit
out
and
there,
what it
right?
looks like and what it's going to take and how much triggering there's going to be and how much resolution there needs to be. And they ain't ready. I'm living it, bro, with people day
Just
to day.
skip to the end. They just want to skip to the end. I'm talking about Jack in particular. Just wants to skip to the end where everything is peaceful without doing the work, to get there.
Yeah, but Joe, don't you think that we were mentioned before Paul and you guys came on? We were saying people are enabling him. Like tonight, it was good. Paul told him straight up, like, "What's up?" Like 100. So did everyone else, pretty much. But don't you think like the enabling thing is happening, and that like,
I think
he just can't take the criticism.
I think you need both, right? You need the guy who's gonna, be nice to you and all of that shit, and you need the guy who's gonna give direct. You need both approaches.
And I do both of that with him.
Yeah, not you per se. I was gonna say in his room, he mostly only will take the helpful part. When criticisms come, he's gonna kick you, boot you. When he sees them coming, he is gonna see them around the corner, and he's gonna hit those criticisms off. He's really sensitive to criticism.
But my question to you, Joe, when I was thinking about you in regard to this, because I've seen you talking to Jack a couple times, and again, I don't know you off this thing or whatever, but the way you present, you present as a dude who's had a lot of experiences of all sorts of varieties, right? You've lived a full life. I get that sense.
Yeah.
So I start wondering what a dude like you is doing humoring Jack as he's sort of looping and cycling. I wonder sort of what your interest or motivation is there.
I think it's I hope it's not this, but I think it's because I deal with a lot of broken people in my real life. I did nothing but drugs. Everybody who does that shit is broken in some way, somehow. I'm used to it. It don't affect me. It doesn't. If someone's broken and keeps looping, it doesn't get under my skin at all. I can come back every day and criticize the same shit. You boot me, I'm gonna laugh and hop on somebody else's panel. It doesn't disturb me. I'm used to it.
Well, that's why I call this the insane asylum. It would be no different than doing corrections. Every day we show up, every day we see the same faces, every day we play the same ego games, and one way or another, certain motherfuckers are going to rise to the top on both sides of the bars, and they're going to share respect and an understanding.
Yeah.
Right. But I think sometimes, man, like humoring people to a certain degree. And that's why I liked your thought experiment of this cult name thing. Because it's sort of like, what are we really doing at the end of the day? And some of these conversations have just gotten a little, I love Camp Cupcake, but even me, I'm starting to be like, what, I'm here for the conversation largely.
Yeah.
And it's like, even the conversation, I'm even starting to be like, what the fuck are we doing?
The problem, he got a barrier up against you. I don't know what the fuck happened between y'all, but you've always added to any conversation I've been in immensely. But unless it's in Jack's room, you get 3 words in and he don't want to hear from you. He won't take criticism from you.
It's just like Paul, he knows that I see him clearly.
That's because Garrett was the ambassador for Camp Cupcake with Ian China and shit, and things kind of fell and all kinds of shit happened, Joe Cool.
Yeah, it's weirdness.
I
love y'all. I love the conversation. I'm probably going to wrap this up, though, my friends. And I don't know. It's all interesting. It's that thing where it's like you wish the best for people, but things are pretty confusing on these panels. And some of these different characters, I don't really know, I don't really know who to trust or any of that. And I encourage everyone to think for themselves as always. And the difference, of what I see between Paul and Jack is at least Paul has some standard he's attempting to live by to the best of his ability, which I think is admirable. And that's about, where I see the difference. But go ahead, Paul.
No, I mean, I think,
I thought. Oh, sorry. That was
I was gonna say you're religious, right? You're religious, right?
I'm not religious. I believe in God, but again, that's a complicated conversation. But I'm not.
Just go Proverbs 3:5. Whether you're religious or not, man. When you said, "I don't know who to trust," a higher power, even a doorknob opens the door. So to speak, if you're not religious, but
yeah. No, I do find trust in that for sure.
Don't trust any fucking man.
You're a fellow. Like I always say.
Anyways, later, guys. My phone's about to die.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, Snafu.
It's not an airport, sir. You don't have to announce your departure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Like I always say, I give the realest of real statements, even concerning myself, that are so non-egoic. I don't say that I'm completely correct. I say my percentages are better than most. So if I went around the room and said, who would you trust, like Pastor Troy, me or Jack Talcott, I think everyone's going to answer in unison unless I'm lacking self-awareness. It's me by far. Just on results alone. Just on broadcast alone. Just on presentment and vocal ability alone. Right? The energy behind it alone. So where do we go with that?
Yeah.
Is there a reason why if you got me in the room with Talcott's family, they would trust me infinitely more than him almost immediately?
And I've asked him before, but that would be such a breakthrough moment for my understanding of Jack, is that if he could ever articulate what actually happened with his family that made sense. He hasn't done that in the 6 months I've been listening. It really doesn't make sense. Like the way he presents it. There's missing facts.
Yeah.
And that's why, and that's what I told Moose too. It's like, Moose, I understand you're seeing it as a practice or whatever, but before you really back somebody, you might want to actually know who they are and what their true you know.
He's not backing him. He's using him like he was using me. All that Moose is doing, they don't understand. Every time they don't change themselves and make their next move, it's their undoing. They're convicted again because he came back whining and crying. He's doing the same thing over again. He's not backing Talcott. They're using each other. Moose has a talent, apparently, for making graphics, setting the titles, and moving shit around during a broadcast, right?
He gets to do that
Talcott
over there.
is the sort of like Ricky Ricardo, right? He's at this point got a likeness and a character, and everyone will show up to listen to Talcott's spiral. So they're using each other, hoping they're going to make it big. It's Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton all over again, right? They got an idea.
Hey, Paul, you hit on
Fucking
something
comedy,
there.
man. You could write a comedy off this kind of shit. It writes itself.
I don't know this, Paul, but I assume that you just put in the work and things come. And I do agree, Jack, and I hope you're still listening, that you feel like you're owed an audience and respect and all those things. Like you're just supposed to get them. No.
Joe Cool, I went on to Castro's thing just yesterday. The subscribers started going up again. They hit 22,000 and they stopped on the first channel. We went to 1.2 and now it's 1.6. Am I entitled views? Am I entitled respect? Am I entitled fiat? Am I entitled away? Right. So again, I leave it open. Everyone comes in. I pretty much block nobody until they're just insufferable. I usually do it 5 minutes at a time unless they can't get right. And I just don't want to deal with them, which is few and far between. He blocks everyone. It's just obvious. It's so obvious at this point, you know, and then again, I don't know to what level, because that's why we loop. We loop, I think, because we can't believe what we've seen over the last few years. And we wonder, like he does, what is real? How much of this is being taken as real out there? How many people are going to go, Talcott's the real deal. He's going to take us to the next level and we're going to sign up for his new course. I mean, shit, I've made jokes about it. Nothing would surprise me. That's how it would go in the movie, right? I'll have a small cult-like following. We'll actually do a cult. We'll have millions of subscribers and a whole mansion. And then he'll be like, see, I told you, Paul Unslaved. I was the one. Again, it's easier to fool people than to convince them they've been fooled. And that's exactly what you got going on here.
And I think there's a certain tone. I mean, I don't know, you know, he says he's done different programs or whatever, but he has a tonal quality, which is very Pied Piper. You know, he sort of lulls you into, I don't know what. But I don't know, man. I think it's weird. And I hear your answer, but even Joe Cool, I still don't quite know why you don't see Jack as like a sucker.
I think, whoa. See, when not just you per se, when people don't see a reaction in you, they assume you don't see a thing. I'm the guy who thinks you're supposed to hide your reaction. No one's supposed to know what you're thinking.
Okay, and Joe Cool, that's why I've said to you many times, I caught on to what you do on some level early on, but then I pressed you on it, because what it does with motherfuckers like me is when you never really stand for something and have an opinion and react as you say, that's what I call responsibility. It starts making folks like me go, I'm pretty sure Joe Cool's a real one, but he thinks he has to hide everything from everybody all the time. So I can't trust that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Because he never stands out and says, I think this and I'm standing on it, and Talcott's a bitch.
All right, check this out. I do a lot of these fucking panels, even every day, and been doing them for years and stuff. And I don't have any respect for the guy who every time he sees a thing, no, that's wrong. No, you did that. No, I have no respect for that guy. I'm thinking long term. I don't see a guy say something now, and I'll be thinking a week or two from now is when I'll bring it up and that type of shit.
But Joe Cool, there's no authenticity to that interaction then, because you have to do the Clausen, right? Some folks might say it's this. You say, at this time, this is what I'm thinking and feeling. It might change 5 minutes from now. But to never go on record what you're seeing and feeling and thinking with these presentments is disingenuous in a sense. It's not saying you can't change. You're always playing the devil's advocate and the position where you never go on record and you always have plausible deniability for ever being held on the record.
No. I disagree. I'll answer any question directly.
Okay,
but-
does Talcott appear to be an insane person? If you met him on a street corner with a cardboard fucking sign that said, "Is this real?" and he said he's going to the UN, and then next he's going to meet Klaus Schwab, and he's going to end wars and legal secrets, would you let him into your home and hang with your children?
I've told Jack, he could tell you what I think about that. I think it's, I don't want to say his plan is flawed. I'm going to say he has no plan. And I feel like
okay, so it's the planning. We're caught up at the planning stage. It's not that his perceptual view of reality and himself is askew completely.
Yes, I was just talking about his philosophy, his view of himself and all of that shit. Yes, he fancies himself. I'm sorry, Jack, but in my opinion, you fancy yourself a leader of men. I correct you most, Jack, when you say I. That's your ego. You think you're different from all of us. That smacks, that rings with me. Well, I took this path. I did that. You think you're different. You think you're special. Those things are earned, man. And it's not through, I don't know, quoting so-and-so and this and that, whatever it is you do. You have a good message and all of that shit, but I don't know. There's something to be said about your actions. If you told me, Jack, I'm going to the UN and this is how I'm going to get there, now your respect has gone up tenfold. If you tell me I want to go to the UN, I look at it as like a kid. I'll help him with his dream, but there's probably not much there.
You expect to see some type of progress. I mean, we're all here for a reason. We're all coming together to, at least network and try to get something accomplished here. But I mean, if we're always focused on one individual, how are we going to get anywhere?
That's dope. You say we come here to learn. You said a different word, but we come here to learn, and then hopefully we as men apply it to ourselves and we change. Jack, are you gonna change when you learn these things? Are you gonna change? Because when we agree, you're the most pleasant fuck in the world. But when the lessons come, you get angry and don't want to fucking hear them. How can you apply these lessons and change your fucking life if you're not listening to them? When someone tells you something, and even catch you respect, like Paul now, your first response is, that's your ego, Paul. Oh, you're looping, Paul. Oh, Paul, you're what does he always call you? Projecting, Paul. You're not hearing. It could be 8 motherfuckers on panel telling you the same thing, and you blame all of us without even saying if we could be right and questioning yourself. How much can you possibly grow? And I wish you'd have just hopped up here, Jack.
You can tell when somebody's coming with purpose, and it's not apparent that he's, got a purpose here. I mean, he says that he has one, and we want to believe him, but I mean,
but if you told me, let's say Paul, if you told me Paul wants to, get away from the government and all of that shit, I'd look at his record. I'd see that the man is, out there fighting them, gone to jail over this, reading the proper documents, blah, blah, blah. So I trust him. Jack tells me I want the world to be better. What do I look at, Jack? All I got is your words. You tell me, yeah, this happened, so and so. Where's your body, which is what you're accused of a lot. My desire, my shit's, probably on 1,000 fucking vids, getting locked up and yelling and all across the fucking country in my pursuit.
See, the reason this is so dangerous is because this goes on and these folks leave a wake of, I'm not like necessarily saying everyone's not accountable and responsible, but they leave a wake of people who invest in them, care for them, get around them, and share time, energy, and attention, which is your greatest investment. You can't really get it back.
Yeah.
And then they blame you in the end when you won't love them unconditionally and give them unconditional respect and unconditional entitlements and unconditional special privileges to do what everyone else is not allowed to, right? So that's why it's dangerous. And what are the odds if Jack Talcott's not going to listen to his own women and children who've left his life, he's going to listen to any of us? It's got to get a lot worse for him, I guess.
I feel like I missed something really good today, bro.
I told Jack months ago, 6 months ago, that, metaversely, all he can do is fall back. That's it. That the people coming up like Paul and other people, they would never accept Jack in a leadership role, period.
Yeah.
And I don't know, only on this social media platform would he be given this level of respect and consideration. Nowhere else in reality. And that was my point to you, Joe. And I sort of get your answer. I'm sort of not getting it. That and I'm sort of not getting all of our interest. I'm not getting my own interest in Jack, so I'm not calling you out or anything. I don't know why I'm talking about it.
I enjoy
This is why
shit. I have no issues with that. You can critique me to the end. I'm not gonna act badly. I appreciate it and I respect you, so I have to pay your words fucking attention.
This is why I don't say I identify with really anyone or anything, but I see the self in pretty much everyone. I see the potential. I see the walk. I see it's really one walk and one journey in a lot of ways. Nowhere in life, if you ask the average professional slave, would I have been taken seriously or given any respect.
Right.
Just off the fact that I wear a gray t-shirt and smoke reefer and I yell sometimes and I'm uncivilized.
Yeah.
So this thing could be a great thing, right? And now I'm biased because I'm me. He'll tell you the same thing. But I think I have some self-awareness to differentiate the difference. So, again, this can be great because it can give the world access to folks who they don't want you speaking to for obvious reasons. And then it gives other folks access to the world who obviously want to manipulate, deceive, build themselves up, never be shown to be who and what they are, never provide facts on the record for what they've done, and live off the government while claiming to want to end the government.
Let me ask you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, baby.
But there's a difference between passion and aggression. Like he'll sit here and call somebody a demon when he's the one. Like he just did it. Like right before he, rage quit. He friggin' was just showing aggression. There was no passion there. He was just upset because he wasn't getting what he wanted.
And that's exactly what they do with their women and children. They love bomb them. When they don't do what they want, they come out with the fuck you, like I do the soundbite of them, right? Yeah. They come out with the, hey, I'm going to leave your life unless you do this.
Yes.
Hey, and then eventually the women and children get wise and they go, we got to go and we can't come back. And don't take his calls because he will try to manipulate you.
That's narcissistic shit there. I hate that we use that word so much, but those are narcissistic qualities and traits.
But I came up here with a purpose.
I don't. 1 second, Verily, if you could, please. I'm sorry, but I don't use that term often. I'm not one of these fucking new agers where everyone's a narcissist. I mean, you could argue. Some folks may argue that a lot of folks have tendencies of that, and you could just argue that's like a form of ego, which may be positive in a way. You need to stand your ground sometimes. You need to, if you could communicate healthy and effectively with awareness, you need to lead. So they'll say, well, that's narcissistic. That's egoic. No, that's a healthy form of it. When you deny all accountability and responsibility, when you can't show results, when everyone in your life is leaving and you claim you're the best thing ever, that's a severe disturbance, personality disorder, like cult leader. It's ironic because they project onto me. I don't do that. He does all that, and it's like cult leader 101. That's exactly who would do that. And he would have women at the thing beating him on the back with sandals going, this is where everyone's good, brothers and sisters. And they'd be nodding, right? And if I show up, I go, Talcott, what the fuck are you doing? It's guards, take him away. That's the unslaved character, the Antichrist, the wannabe cult leader.
Yeah.
It's fucking sick.
But that was my purpose of coming up here, was to say, how does one who was involved in the biggest cult on earth, not realize what we're here to do and what we're trying to do and accomplish? And I'm really sick and tired of explaining it, but none of these people have ever even been in a cult voluntarily or, otherwise. Please explain to me how this is a cult, because I was sent to a cult at 15 years old. And I spent 5 months in that cult. Thank God it wasn't longer. And this is not a cult, okay? Baptist, reform school in Texas, Corpus Christi, you know, people telling you I can shoot you and then I can shoot myself in the head and I'll still go to heaven. Like, that's a cult, okay? Like, not being able to talk, all the girls in the school not being able to talk, that's a cult. Like dorm silence, that's a cult. If they heard or even like whispered of you running away, they take your shoes, put you in a red checkered shirt, and stand you up against the wall reading the KJV all damn day long. Okay,
I guarantee you
that's a cult.
I guarantee you, if you gave Talcott the means to do that all, he would fall right into place, because someone would come next to him who he admired or had some kind of power, and he would tell him to do all that. And because he's so easily led, I've shown that, right? Whether he's easily led or he actually so predatory, he knows what's going on and when you're bullshitting, but he'll just go along with it for effect, right? And he's
scarier.
I can't. He's so good. I'm like so good at this shit, and I can't even get a read on him at times. Whether it's pure insanity or he's so good at reading that he goes along with it, and I can't even tell when he's doing that. And I can always tell when people are doing that, so I know he's a danger. Right? What the night that Ian, it was a perfect example. Ian put him up there and said, "Talcott, you're going to run everything." He was like, "Throw that guy out. That guy. Oh, he's a defector. Oh, him." He loved it. That's all he would need is someone next to him going, "Talcott, you're the greatest. We're going to work with you. Just run the cult with your mind and heart. We'll do everything you say." And he would just fall right into position. And he'd have people excommunicated, exiled, punished in public to prove a point, you know, that we're all going to learn together. So I do a takeoff of that, and they all say I'm doing a cult. I'm mimicking you all in your personality. These kind of folks. He's just an extreme example. Ian's the same way. That's why they bonded. Because Ian would be the same kind of thing. He'd say, "We're vibing so high, I'm going to shed my body. The dark being showed up last night, and now the We Are Awake community has to conform." Right? And out with Paulie Unslaved and that guy and that guy and that guy. These are the wannabe cult leaders who just are not, you know, intelligent enough, charismatic enough, I guess, savvy enough to effectuate it. Right. And then they project it onto me because they go, "Paulie's actually getting done everything we want to get done, and he's not actually running a cult. How do we do that?" I go, "It's called being an honorable, trustworthy man. When you say something, people listen." He's also the guy who says, "Nobody in my life listens to me." Right. Yeah. Ian's the same way. He talks and everyone talks over him on his own panel. So they come to the metaverse and it's everything they could never get in life. I've got everything I need in life. My respect, first and foremost. I come on the metaverse and you see the difference in how it plays out. Right? With respect for oneself and from the people who matter, I guess.
The people will come to you, put the work in. That's just the way you get anything. The way you build your panel channel, Jack, you put in 6 months and you look up and then you put in 6 more. Then you start deciding what direction and all of that shit. But you got to put the work in and people will come to you. That demanding, how come you just don't understand, expecting a motherfucker to come in and just admire you. And
damn it, Joe Cool, go on record right now and say you can see the imagery when I painted of Talcott sitting in that Jim Jones pavilion, right, coming out of his hut, just hopped up either on some, you know, substance they're getting him or just this
with
love
sandals on.
Yeah, and just being like, just getting up on a podium and be like, "None of you understand my struggle," just like Hitler.
Yeah,
Mein Kampf, my struggle. You all don't understand, and then someone pipes up like me, and he goes, "That's it."
Off with his head.
Play, right? Someone's gonna get whipped, like when Jim Jones used to walk around the church whipping on the women. On and they have microphone recordings of it. It sounds just like Talcott if you go listen to it.
Yeah, I saw this shit.
And Jack Talcott definitely knows what game he's playing. Like, again, that's the thing, man. That's what I'm getting tripped out about on the "Is This Is Real?" I don't know why so many adults seem to be humoring this dude that you wouldn't like let park your car. It really trips me out, man.
Because everybody's redeemable. We want to think that he's redeemable. A lot of people think that, you know, they see something in Jack, and yeah, I mean,
I